of Sherlock Holmes versus Jack the Ripper today because it's one of my favorite games, and so I don't know how fun and interesting it'll be, given that I already know the game, so to speak. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's try to. Aim. No, we don't need that. And I have to restart the game. Fun. Alright, well, it should be quick. It's kind of a small game, so it's not like it's... right, let's start a new game. Yes, thank you.
In the name of my health and yours, Holmes, stop smoking so much. There is more fog in our apartment than in the street.
You are right, Watson, but this evening is never ending, and I have nothing to do but make smoke rings. A more amusing pastime would suit better, but my doctor is against it.
Perhaps a little tune on the violin.
My heart is not in it tonight, Watson. Have you noticed how this cigarette burns? Would you not say it is like a life being consumed? How many lives will end tonight in London? How many crimes will be committed within the life of a single cigarette? Ah, the vanity of existence. It is but complaints and smoke, the meagre panache of its sickly soul.
The tobacco is giving you very somber thoughts. I am certain that this inactivity will not last. Let's retire. You'll be in better humour tomorrow.
Reason speaks. Let's to bed.
So the other pastime you want to do was cocaine, right? So yeah, since this game is versus Jack the Ripper, I'm sure you can imagine exactly how the what kind of crimes will be committed and where. I actually used to be like really obsessed with Jack the Ripper when I was younger. Almost to like almost to the point of unhealthy, really. Oops. I had a thing for like serial killers who got away, like mystery and who was he and what happened to him, kind of thing. I think they've discovered it now. I think they used like a scarf or something and extracted DNA and figured out who Jack the Ripper used to be.
Come this way, my lovely. We'll have a right good time. Wait, let me help you.
You have cold sores.
Oh, it's my hair that pleases you.
It's not big, she's just flipping a little through the wall. That's some real unpleasant noises.
The news is as dark as the sky, Holmes. An inquest has been opened into the murder of a poor woman in the East End. The unfortunate girl was discovered last night, lying in the street, still warm. The murderer was filled with an incredible savagery. Oh, the article gave me shivers down my spine. The inspectors in charge of the case don't seem to have even the slightest lead. A similar murder took place less than a month ago.
Ah, love. A romantic walk, a kiss in the moonlight, a polite refusal, a terrible anger, and a hanging.
This area of Whitechapel is a disgrace to London. The government should take serious note of what is going on there.
Whitechapel? This woman was found in Whitechapel?
Yes, indeed. Bucks Row, to be specific.
Then it was not a question of romance, but of commerce. Unless these women actually take pleasure in the vice, the female nature is completely...
Holmes, do you hear yourself? A woman is dead under unspeakable circumstances. No less than any other, she was a human and one of Her Majesty's subjects. None of these streetwalkers of which you speak have any other way to survive but by selling their bodies. You know as well as I that our era is not a gentle one, and these women don't have much to look forward to. Some grace, if you would. Do not refuse them your compassion.
Do not say another word, my dear Watson. We shall leave immediately for Whitechapel.
To the scene of the crime?
No, I think it would be better to arrive there a bit later once night has fallen. At the moment, the spot will be overrun by police officers and spectators. It would be impossible to investigate properly.
Then where are we going, Holmes?
The best thing to do would be to head to the police station and attempt to get a copy of the preliminary reports.
But the article in the Star seemed quite complete to me.
You must know, Watson, that journalists often draw conclusions from the facts without a proper understanding of how to do this delicate task. We must obtain the reports from the inspector in charge, as well as those from the coroner.
Very well, Holmes, but all the same.
It seems to me that I have a map of London somewhere, Watson. Can you find it and locate Whitechapel while I get ready?
You are too kind, Holmes. Searching through your mess?
Did you know, by the way, that there is a copyright on giving Sherlock Holmes any form of emotions? And Frogwares are not the ones who own that copyright, it's the Doyle estate. So in every game or every depiction of Sherlock Holmes, he's not actually allowed to show emotion. For like the last, is it 5 or 15 stories, I don't remember. Special edition, the Whitechapel Horror, the third crime of a man who must be a maniac. Women lured to by streets to be butchered. The latest victim identified, opening of the inquest, great local excitement. The victim of the latest Whitechapel Horror, the woman who was found yesterday morning in Bucks Row, completely disemboweled and with her head nearly gashed from her body, was for a time completely unknown. As the news of the murder spread, however, first one woman and then another came forward to view the body, and at length it was found that a woman answering the description of the murdered woman had lodged in a common lodging house, 18 Thrall Street, Spitalfields. Women from that place were fetched, and they identified the deceased as Polly, who had shared a room with 3 other women in a place on the usual terms of such houses. Nightly payments of 4d each woman having a separate bed. It was gathered that the deceased had led the life of an unfortunate while lodging in the house, which was only for about 3 weeks past. Nothing more was known of her by them, but that when she presented herself for her lodging on Thursday night, she was turned away by the deputy because she had not the money. She was then the worse for drink, but not drunk, and turned away laughing, saying, "I'll soon get my dust money. See what a jolly bonnet I've got now." She was wearing a bonnet which she had not been seen with before, and left the lodging house door. A woman of the neighborhood saw her later, she told the police, even as late as 2:30 on Friday morning in Whitechapel Road. Oh my god, this is a long article. will not be reading that whole thing, I think. Right. You control Dr. Watson. Oops. Let's do first person.
Holmes's experiment table. Well, well, Holmes has received some French champagne with a card, a gift from a young admirer, signed Raoul d'Andrecy. Who on earth could that be?
That's a nice little Easter egg for a later game. There's the map, but we might as well go exploring a little bit more.
Holmes's violin. He doesn't play nearly enough, if you ask me. Treaty on Cornish, the Celtic dialect of Cornwall. And here, medieval pottery. How can Holmes possibly read such things?
Well, the Cornish dialect one sounds interesting.
Holmes uses this old Persian slipper to hold his pipe tobacco.
As any sane individual would.
This is the coal bucket in which Holmes keeps his cigars. What a funny idea. This is how Holmes stores his post. Thank goodness his clients don't see this. Switzerland, a charming country. Perhaps Holmes and I shall investigate one day.
Wink, wink. Here is Watson's room. Pretty sure this is this is Watson's room. You don't get to go inside Sherlock's yet. I think he's in there changing his clothes.
Have you found the map of London, Watson? Come, my friend, it can't be too far. Be sure to locate the police station in Whitechapel we must get to.
Understood, Holmes.
Okay. The map is over here.
A map of London, at last. Let's see. The district of Whitechapel.
I can't really read maps, but thankfully it's circled and pretty big. Here's the police station.
I found the map, Holmes, and I was able to locate the Whitechapel police station.
Congratulations, Watson. Come, the game is afoot. You can read the article to me on the way.
That's a long article. I hope we have a long drive in front of
We have arrived, Watson, in Whitechapel.
Not very bright, and what cold! Brr, a typical London morning.
Come, Watson, let's find this police station.
Hi, now Sherlock. So we got creepy Watson next to us. Knock knock.
Well, this station isn't very well kept, I say.
It's a local outpost, Watson. The daily tasks that confront these constables are not the easiest, and they are poorly paid.
That's unfortunate. Hello.
Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello, I would like to speak with the Chief Inspector, if you please.
Constable Humphreys here. I am the only one in at the moment. What do you want with the Chief?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I am...
Sherlock Holmes? The detective that I read about in the papers? Well, that's a treat, that is. You come about the Buck Road case, have you? Indeed, we...
Not at all. We were just passing by chance. You say that there was a crime recently.
You don't know? You must be the only folk in London who haven't heard.
It won't be long until you find the culprit, no doubt.
Nothing is less certain. Suspects, 0. Clues, 0. It's not good for us, especially not in this district.
A very open and honest police officer, I'll say.
Listen, this isn't what I came here for, but if I can be of service, in a confidential capacity, of course, if you can entrust me with a copy of the preliminary reports, I could study them and return later with my conclusions.
It's just that these are official documents. I can't take a decision like that without the inspectors. The sooner we know the facts in the file, the sooner we can be of help, my friend. Say, if you are Sherlock Holmes, you can find anything, isn't that true? With your magnifying glass, footprints?
My performance is often embellished by my biographer.
Oh, good. Good. I will give
you're
you
not
the
the brightest
reports,
in the-
but could you do me a small favour first? During my rounds, I dropped a
Not the
leather
brightest
folder
star in
containing
the
some
sky,
papers.
are you, Humphreys?
Nothing of importance, but it's a big mistake. I would go looking for it myself, but I am stuck here on duty.
I must have lost it near the seedy boarding house not far from here. Left when you leave the courtyard and left again in the lane. Perhaps you could go, ask around.
I will do my
We
best.
shall see what we can do.
Sherlock Holmes, Master Fetch. What?
Are we going to go look for these
Fetch
documents?
Quester?
Why not? It'll give us an occasion to take a tour of the district, Watson.
Master Fetcher? Was it left and then left again?
Commercial Street.
I can't sprint in this game. I imagine it must look quite comical. Dignified Sherlock Holmes sprinting through Whitechapel. Hello.
Good day, sir. You wouldn't happen to have seen a leather folder on the ground around here, would you?
Good day, gentlemen. Finley, caretaker of this building. Here to serve. And yes, less than an hour ago. But some of the local urchins picked it up and God only knows where it might be now.
That's unfortunate. This police bag contained documents that the local police will miss.
You're inspectors.
Oh yes.
Not at all. I am Dr. Watson, and this is Sherlock Holmes, the detective.
Sherlock Holmes, the great
With 3
detective.
exclamation points.
You must be here about last night's murder. Have you discovered the identity of the poor woman?
Indeed, I'd only to read the papers.
Mine is dated from this morning, and it does not say who it is.
Oh really?
I'm not really engaged
reading
in
the
this
Daily
case,
Mail.
but if I can help the police, I will do so willingly.
Oh, to be sure. I've been told that Inspector Aberline is in charge. A very capable man.
Who's that? I haven't heard that name before.
So, according to you, I have no chance of finding this folder then.
Indeed. But I, on the other hand, should be able to find it. Do me a favour in exchange. A vagrant comes almost every night to sleep in one of the nooks not far from my windows. He coughs, howls, sometimes even sings. He's quite hefty and I don't dare approach him. I've lost 3 tenants because of him. If it's you who speaks to the police, they will take this matter more seriously. Tell them about the captain. They'll know who you're talking about. In the meantime, I'll find your police bag.
The East London Advertiser. Right, so this one does not name anything. I also will not be reading
Let's go
this.
to the police station.
It says smog-filled day in London. Excuse me. Excuse me. Why would you just leave your stroller around here? Strollers are expensive. If you lose that one, pretty sure people who live in this district can't afford a new one. Just
These archives are impressive. I bet they have been carefully conserved, classified and indexed in order to follow the evolution of criminality in this area with extreme precision. Wouldn't you say, Holmes?
Given their condition, more likely for lighting the furnace, Watson. This must be the door that leads to the cells.
and I am not allowed to go lock myself up. That's okay.
Her Majesty Queen Victoria. What would she think of this mess?
Why do you have a portrait of her just hanging up on that wall? Was that like
This police station is like a laundry. What a scandal.
is that like a thing that every police station had to do? Just hang the Queen up on the wall?
So, gentlemen, have you found my police bag?
Sort of.
Not quite yet. Do you know a vagrant who goes by the name of the Captain?
Captain? Yes, an old sailor, strong as a Turk and tattooed from head to toe. The drink has turned him into a derelict.
He appears to be causing some problems for the caretaker of the building at the end of the street.
What do you want us to do? Every night, stairwells, halls and porches become public dormitories, and people don't only come to sleep. I
Wink,
believe
wink.
this man has a niece who puts him up sometimes. Her lodgings are in Commercial Street, right after the alley with the boarding house. You won't forget my folder, will you?
No, no. We'll remember
Do you
folder.
believe this woman will agree to have her uncle stay with her?
No idea. Oh well, let's go see her just the same.
That is an impressive beard. Right, so this was the street with the lodging house, boarding house, so this has to be the street with the...
There. This is where the niece of the captain must live.
Why is one of the windows boarded up? This doesn't look like a nice place. Miss?
Good day, miss. Would you happen to be the niece of the man known as the captain?
Oh, yes, that would be me. What has he done this time? He isn't... Oh my god, I'm on my way.
He isn't what? Dead? No, he's not dead.
Miss, we have come to ask if you could have your uncle come live with you. He sleeps under the windows of its boarding house, causes the caretaker no end of problems.
I know. I've lodged him for a while, and he was the same here. My landlord made me kick him out. I'm ashamed, you know. I never should have, given the state of his health. He coughs day and night.
There might be a way to calm his cough. I am a doctor. I could examine him.
He went to see a doctor at the clinic. But the medicine costs too much. I can hardly pay my rent.
We will see to it. Where might your uncle be found?
I don't know. He must be in the vicinity, but I don't know exactly where.
Follow the sound of the coughs, I guess.
We will find him.
Holmes, this is serious. Find an alcoholic in Whitechapel? A needle in a haystack would be easier.
Come, dear doctor, let's trust to our lucky star. Moreover, we also have our informers, remember?
Are you referring to those brats to whom you are always giving charity?
Exactly, my secret police. Some of them must surely roam in this area. It suffices to find them.
So, Sherlock Holmes pays with child labor. Hello.
Hello, young man. How are you?
I recognize him. It's the lad who sells newspapers, who is always calling outside our windows at Baker Street, early in the morning.
Hello, Mr. Holmes. It's a treat to see you again. What can I do?
Would you happen to know an old sailor who goes by the name of the captain? A poor man who hits the bottle a bit hard.
Of course, Mr. Holmes. He's there at the end of the street. Round to the left he is. But be careful. He can be a tough customer, that one.
Very good, my young man. The doctor will give you a little something. Watson?
Huh? I say, Holmes?
Is he always such a skinflint with you, Mr. Holmes? Well, thanks to you, Mr. Holmes. Anytime you need me.
Pay the urchin. Was it down the street or was it the other street? I think it's down this street.
I can hear someone coughing more than is natural, Holmes.
Yes, Watson. The poor man cannot be too far away.
Did you look? Oh, there you go. Hello. Yeah, he's over here.
If, in order to listen to us, this man imposes as condition that we find his pet cockroach, there will be another murder in Whitechapel today, Watson. Yours.
Ah. He is in a critical state, Holmes. He has barely a month left.
Is there a way, dear doctor, to ensure that this last month passes in silence?
Really, Holmes, sometimes you... Oh, really? I will make note of some medicine to get immediately that will relieve his pain.
Very well. I will locate an apothecary or a clinic.
I will, huh? Okay. Oh, that's not a clinic. Maybe this way? You look a bit too stately dressed to be in these streets. That now I've turned around. I got. Someone else who's in a hurry. I love the AI pathfinding in this game. It's kind of incredible. So that is definitely not a clinic. That's like the opposite of a clinic. That's where you go before you go to the clinic.
I have no reason to go that way.
Oh, fine. Also, not a clinic. Oh yeah, the ghost carriages. They are pre-rendered to like go at a specific time when you're in these openings here. So like if I... No, maybe not. Maybe it's just that opening. But yeah, it also vanishes without a trace all of a sudden. Where? Do I have a map? I do. Dead end. There's the clinic. Might as well fast travel.
This building is a clinic.
Yes, indeed. Well done. This looks wholly unsanitary. Hello.
Good day, sir. Dr. Gibbons. You aren't from around these parts?
Indeed, Doctor. It is for someone from your neighbourhood that I am here, though. His doctor asked that I acquire some medicine on his behalf. I have the note here.
Dr. Watson? Not from round here neither. This medication is quite dear. Certain documents are necessary to obtain them for free.
I didn't know that Dr. Cullen was playing. It was.
I don't
Doctor in
have it.
Whitechapel.
You'll have to accept my spare change. Will it be enough?
Enough to relieve your patient for a month. Would you like me to make this prescription available after that time?
According to Dr. Watson, that won't be necessary.
The possibility of a recovery?
A definitive one, yes.
There, sir.
Thank you. It's rather quiet here.
An unusual chain of events. The majority of the people hereabouts went out last night to see the great fire at the warehouse. The patients that I was minding and my staff were no exception. The former were dramatically healed, and the latter ended up sick. And with the murder last night, most of the people who weren't working wandered over to the scene of the crime. Their little aches and pains will wait until tonight or tomorrow.
A squalid murder, it would seem.
Just like what this area has become.
Oh, goodbye.
My thanks, Doctor.
Not at all.
Apparently, I can get expensive medication for pocket change. Okay, so where am I? The better question is where am I supposed to backtrack? Not that way. Alright, it's through the dead end. So I was on the right path earlier. There it was, and there it went. There it went. And let's lose his lodgings. So oh, hello, wall. I don't believe we've ever met. So he's Where was he again? Down here, right? Yeah. There's a kneeling, Watson.
Find the medicine, Holmes. We must
Yeah.
find the medicine, Holmes. We must make haste.
Alright, I need to.
Here is the medication, Watson. Is our man movable?
He should be able to stand in a few minutes and will no longer be suffering from his cough before long.
Consider the affair resolved. Accompany him to his niece's while I return to the boarding house, and then join me at the police station. Let's return to the boarding house.
There's just a drunk yelling.
I have good news for you, Mr. Finley. We have sent the captain to stay with a relative, and he shouldn't bother you for a while.
I also have some good news. I have your police bag.
Thank you. I bid you good day.
Nice.
Oh, it was nothing. Tell me, one of my wife's friends lost...
Another day, Finley. Another day. Let's go to the police station.
Yes, let's. Oh yeah, that icon in the corner, by the way, it's like all my dialogues. Super exciting. But useful later, I suppose. Items. Here we go.
Are you
Here's your
sure
bag.
it's the police bag that you lost?
Yes, but someone attempted to force it open. They didn't succeed, but now the lock is stuck. Perhaps you could...
Let's see.
Whee! Right, so first puzzle of the day. And I don't quite remember how to do this one. 4 needs to be up there. Hmm. Let's try that one more time. 1. No, wait, let's see. Like that. Three, 4, 5. Well, 4 needs to be there. What a complicated system for a police box. Uh, let's try again. So here I want here I want uh, so I want them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 1, 2 there. Two, 3, 4. So I need to swap those two. Hmm. Let's try again. Then maybe that one's supposed to be in between. Oh, okay, there.
All
Oh,
done.
there we go. I had
A
it
big thank you,
confused.
Mr. Holmes.
Think nothing of it, my friend.
Right, so the
So,
reports.
the reports.
Why don't you wait till the inspectors get back? You would certainly learn more.
If I wanted to meet the inspectors, I would have done so. So, give me the preliminary reports, and above all, do not mention my visit to anyone. Is that clear?
Sure, if that's what you want. Here are the reports.
Thank you.
Well, preliminary reports: death of Polly Nichols, 31, August 1888. Autopsy report by Dr. Henry Llewellyn, surgeon. Her throat has been cut from left to right, two distinct cuts being on the left side, the windpipe, gullet, and spinal cord being cut through, a bruise apparently of a thumb being on the right lower jaw, not jab, Also one on the left cheek. The abdomen has been cut open from the center of the bottom of the ribs, the along right side, under the pelvis to the left of the stomach. There, the wound was jagged. The omentum or coating of the stomach was also cut in several places, and 2 small stabs on private parts, apparently done with a strong bladed knife. Supposed to have been done by someone left-handed person, death being almost instantaneous. Almost. That's not good.
Have you obtained the preliminary reports?
Yes, we'll read them on the go. Let's to the scene of the crime at Bucks Row, Watson.
Do I remember where Bucks Row is? It's one of the side streets, right? So maybe along here. International Workingmen's Club. Fun.
On this poster is written Club for Socialist Jews, the Cradle of Liberty. Interesting.
Yeah. Think
The Wasp's Nest. This pub looks rather seedy.
I feel like we'll be going there later then. This is a dead end. Technically, we could just use the map, so I don't... I think, maybe. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's a solid police
But what are all these
blockade.
people doing here, Holmes?
Apparently they came to see the scene of the crime.
What about us? Aren't we going to see it?
We will return this evening, Watson. The circumstances shall be ideal for carrying out our little experiments. Well, Watson, we are at the scene of the Polly Nichols murder. Imagine the victim lying at the spot where she was found and try to discern all of the clues we can. Watson, you are a writer. I am therefore entrusting you with our deduction board. It will help us to establish certain facts.
Understood, Holmes.
Funky.
No signs of blood.
Oh. No traces of blood on the walls. This is our deduction board, where we shall apparently make our deductions. Right,
No marks on the ground. The ground is muddy. Let's look at this poor woman more closely.
solid.
There's a bruise at
bruises.
the level of the right maxilla. There's a bruise on the left cheek.
You need to check her.
The throat was slit from left to right. There are 2 incisions. A small pool of blood, 6 inches in diameter.
Her dress is
A small pool of blood,
Okay.
6 inches in diameter.
Anything else you need? Apparently I have not finished with her.
Let's look at
head.
this poor woman more closely.
Yes, let's what about the jagged dress though? I feel like that's important.
The throat was slit from left.
Yes, thank you.
The tongue is swollen.
There we go. Was that it? That's it, apparently. Yes.
The body was lying on its back, legs straight and slightly apart. The skirt had been lifted up to the middle of the body. The left hand was touching the barn door. The body was still warm. Let's reread the preliminary report for the details on the wounds inflicted upon this poor woman. There is a black bonnet near the left hand.
Do you want me to reread that? Oh, there's a lot of deductions going on. Where's my documents?
There is only one streetlight lit on this street, Watson, and this spot is particularly poorly lit.
This spot is deserted, Holmes. The prostitutes only come here to exercise.
Well, Watson, we have found all of the possible clues, I think. We will now attempt to recreate the scene of the murder. Come closer, Watson. I have to make you up.
Oh boy.
You are joking, Holmes? I feel ridiculous, Holmes.
You look great.
Now, Watson, come and stand here in front of me. You shall play the role of the poor woman and I shall play that of the murderer. Let's try to reconstruct the facts to ensure the final result corresponds indisputably to the way that Polly Nichols was killed.
Okay, well, I'm standing up. And... no, bare hands, and, no, in front, and,
This position is unlikely.
no, maybe I was standing to the side.
No, there is no reason the murderer would be positioned like this. The grip would be awkward. This
Behind?
position isn't very comfortable either.
Okay, so was definitely standing in front.
This position is unlikely.
Was it on the ground then?
Sorry, Watson. No, the victim wasn't already...
So it was standing, about...
No, had the victim had her throat slit while standing, there would...
Okay, so...
Yes, it's quite possible the events occurred like this. Yes, it's quite possible the events occurred like this.
Okay, and then...
I hope that, as with the real murder, nobody had to witness all of that, Watson. If the murderer used his right hand astride his victim, there wasn't much room.
right, so he's...
The
he
murderer
left.
had enough room to inflict the wounds to the neck, and these wounds suggest the left hand was used.
Excellent. I can't tell the difference between left or right, apparently.
My dear Watson, now that we have found all of our clues, nothing remains but to subject them to our most likely hypotheses in order to deduce the facts.
Yeah, okay, so time to put all of these in place. Dirty and damp ground. He could not have had relations on the ground. The murderer threw water on the ground. There were relations on the ground. No, we probably couldn't. Oh, good, there are more. Okay, let's. Black bonnet near the left head, poorly lit street, and they only go down to the street to exercise. The victim was holding her bonnet. The bonnet was already on the ground. The victim wasn't cold. Probably held it, right? The victim probably wasn't afraid, and she was ready to exercise, quote unquote. No traces of blood on the walls, and the victim had her throat slit. The victim didn't have her throat slit while standing. A little pool of blood means didn't flow. I'm not a criminologist. Nichols was dead before? Yes, okay. And oh god. That's allowed. The corpse was still warm, and no footsteps on the ground, and the murderer cut open her throat. The victim wasn't dragged, I guess, and so that it took place on the premises. Tongue is bloated. She was strangled. Throat was slit from left to right. The murderer must have been sitting on the victim. It has a bruise on the right jaw, caused by hand pressure. So the killer's right hands prevented the victim from screaming. Left hand. And the killer strangled the victim with both hands? With one hand? Well, the killer is definitely left-handed, but like... I can't tell the difference between left and right. Genuinely, it's an honest problem. Ah, there we go. And that means it's either a big man, a strong man, or a woman. I think strong. Yeah.
The victim was
Yeah.
most probably dead before being laid down. Once the heart stopped, gravity drained the body slowly, not in a heavy spurt that would have stained half the street.
Thank you, Holmes. I understand why you told me not to change clothes. Do you realize that our behavior didn't alarm anyone?
The victim's ordeal was even more discreet. By acting in silence, we have confirmed something. The crime definitely took place here. The victim and her murderer were able to come here without making any noise, and afterwards the murder took place without the slightest cry being uttered. Come, Watson, let's go home. We have spent far too long in this sinister alley.
Oh my.
And so, my dear Watson, the day and night which we passed in Whitechapel were enlightening, weren't they?
An adventure that I most certainly will never relate. To be in the skin of that poor woman. I prefer not to speak of it further. But have we really learned anything about the murderer? Obviously a man, given the necessary strength.
We have little to go on, at least no more than the police. But in my opinion, Inspector Aberline has a trick or two up his sleeve. No, I want to talk about the facts and what we can draw from them. We know where the crime was committed and under what conditions. I would like to ask you about the possible motives for the crime. According to you, Watson, what could have pushed the murderer to act in such a way?
Good question. It could be revenge, love, theft, madness, or black magic. Yes, definitely black magic. I'm voting for that. And also love and revenge. Madness because
Homicidal insanity, Holmes.
It is indubitable that the man who did this to Polly Nichols is not of his full senses.
okay, so maybe it was madness. Credible motive, even if it's a field that Sherlock doesn't know.
Black magic?
I'm not terribly interested in the occult or black magic. Let's give the benefit of the doubt to this motive.
The victim was an occasional prostitute without family or ties. So
A personal drama?
Love can certainly lead to many a drama, but we have to consider the fact that the victim didn't know her attacker.
okay, so it was not love. It's probably not theft.
Theft, perhaps?
I have a hard time believing that someone would attack poor Polly so fiercely just to rob her of a few coins.
Revenge.
Elementary.
Oh,
Very well,
I got it
Watson.
right.
I think that we've exhausted the topic. Take a rest and we'll speak again later.
Alright, bedtime.
Ah, it would seem that the investigation is advancing, Holmes. Yesterday's Star said that a suspect is in the hands of the police, A man with a rather sinister reputation.
I was about to join you in your optimistic outlook until you informed me that the good news came from the press, Watson.
But surely they wouldn't invent the fact that the police are holding a suspect, or the acts that are attributed to him.
You will have an exact answer to these 2 questions in less than 50 seconds, Watson.
Pardon?
Enter, Inspector.
Good day.
Hello.
Dear Watson, allow me to introduce Inspector Aberline, Inspector Dr. Watson.
Inspector?
To what do we owe the honour of your presence, Inspector?
I heard that the 2 of you made your way to Whitechapel a few days ago. Your arrival, you are aware, coincides with a very serious affair which our police service is going to great lengths to solve and which is creating strong tensions in the area.
Pardon me, but haven't you arrested someone? A certain Leather Apron?
Oh, that is his
Absolutely not.
name. Oh.
The man who hides behind this name is indeed being actively searched for by the force. Besides, nothing at the moment suggests that he is the Bucks Row murderer.
There, you've been enlightened, Watson. Now it is our turn to answer Inspector Aberline's questions.
Indeed. I will be brief and precise. Do you intend to investigate this case, or have you already started?
It is to be of service to a friend that I went to Whitechapel. We did, out of curiosity, familiarise ourselves with the preliminary reports, and we made our way to the scene of the crime. Our conclusions are slim, as are the clues. Having not been officially appointed by a client, I believe that my intervention in this business will end there.
Very well. To be frank, you take the weight off my shoulders by distancing yourself from the case. Our image isn't very good, to say nothing of what the press puts us through. Thus, if overnight they found out that you were on the case, people would turn against us.
And they would pester me, overwhelm me, and finally make me out to be responsible for the inevitable failure such a scenario entails. Neither you nor I wish for this to happen. I know that your time is precious, Inspector. I will send you a note regarding my conclusions shortly.
With pleasure. Gentlemen?
Do you think that he will find the murderer?
The chances are slim to non-existent. It is 7 days now, short of a confession from the murderer himself.
And you will not go further?
You heard the Inspector, Watson. My presence in Whitechapel would hinder, which doesn't mean that we will drop the case.
How is that?
The Inspector spoke of me, but not of us. It is you, Watson, who will lead the investigation tonight. It is you who will bring to the police station the little note that I will write regarding our conclusions. Despite the late hour, there is nothing to stop you from making inquiries about this famous leather apron while you are there.
Poor Watson, really. He is now in charge of a Sherlock Holmes investigation. RIP. So let's head to Whitechapel.
Well, if I follow Holmes's instructions, then to begin my investigation into this leather apron, I must first head to the police station.
At 12:30 a.m. Jesus. Pardon me, Constable.
Good evening, sir. What do you... I know you. You were here last week with Sherlock Holmes.
Indeed.
Indeed. I have come to bring a message from Sherlock Holmes for Inspector Aberline.
Very well, I will pass it on. But come to think of it, someone was asking about you recently. Finley, the caretaker of some shady boarding house nearby. Does that mean anything to you?
Ah, perhaps. Actually, I read in the Star that you have arrested a suspect called Leather Apron.
You shouldn't believe what you read in that rag, sir. The man is being hunted, but we have yet to get our hands on him, and we aren't close to it either.
Why ever not?
Bah, he's a specialist in the streetwalker racket. These girls make pitiful witnesses, and we don't inspire confidence. Furthermore, the man seems to be pretty discreet lately. Someone must be helping to hide him.
Dun dun dun.
How to get on his trail, then?
One of these girls would have to confide in us and give a valid description of the man. Then we'd ask around the journeymen, who use aprons, I imagine.
Well, Well, that's a lot of
Well, goodbye.
different people.
I must go to Finley's boarding house.
I mean, you got shoemakers and butchers and blacksmiths, and that's gonna be a long list. You two are still talking, I see. It's been weeks. Oh, look at that. Are you aware that you're painting the wooden door the wrong way? That's going to look very bad.
Good evening, Finley.
Oh, good evening, sir. Aren't you the gentleman who was with the great detective the other time?
That is indeed me, Dr. Watson. Tell me, Finley, I was told that you were looking for us at the police station.
Indeed, I wanted to thank you for last time, you know. That vagrant has never set foot round mine again. I even found a tenant, one who pays his rent, I mean.
Nice. Well, that's because the man is dying, but sure.
You don't seem very happy, but you were lucky to have found a good tenant so quickly.
It's just that this man is very strange. He paid several days in advance and I gave him a key to the place. Since then, he goes out every night and returns at ungodly hours. I'm sure he goes to visit the ladies, but still, every night. And when he moved in, something must have broken in his case and stank up the stairs in his room for 2 days. I think it was a jar. It must be over there.
Well then, that is interesting.
Tell me, have you heard talk of Leather Apron?
By the papers, that's all. This man seems very sinister.
Do you know any journeymen who use this type of apron?
The slaughterhouse butchers, I believe, but definitely the cobblers. I know one, old Isaac Solomonovich. His workshop is on a small street in the Jewish community, across from the hospital. He's a good man. He can help you. But you know, the people there are very close and don't share much with non-Jews.
Well, that's kind of to be expected.
Thank you, Finley.
Isn't it?
At your service, sir.
Right, well, we need to inspect this. There it is.
This odour is very strong indeed, but the whole neighbourhood as such has a dreadful stench. Finley might have an idea as to what this jar that contained.
What do you want, Doctor?
Strange smell.
You're right, the pieces of the jar that your tenant broke do give off a strange smell.
It's true. That's quite normal given his trade.
Yes, and what would the trade be of your strange tenant?
A doctor, like yourself, I believe. Dr. Tumblety, a foreigner. Canadian, perhaps.
Dr. Tumblety. It might be interesting to know more about him. Thank you, Finley.
At your service, sir.
Well then. I appreciate the paint decor you've done on the walls, the windows. Right, so what other clues? Oh yeah, the Jewish quarter. And I could probably also talk to the clinic guy about this bottle. Yeah. Don't rightly know where the Jewish quarter is. Is it down here, maybe? There's a wasp's nest. Oh yeah, there's the gentleman's club for Jewish men. Stanislav Novak. I don't speak. Is that Polish? afraid that's a bit outside of my my language barriers. So I probably shouldn't go and bother this guy at like midnight anyway, but Fisher, umbrellas, police station, how about we go and...
I have no reason to go that way.
Fine. How about we go and check out the... Oh, this isn't the clinic. You look lost.
If you have the means, I can let you pass before everyone. But behind me.
Nope. Oh, Lucy.
Oh, it's you. I'm coming. Dr. Watson, how are you?
How are you? How's your uncle?
Well, and yourself? And how's your uncle?
Well, he sleeps a lot, but he doesn't seem to be suffering. Your medicine has worked wonders. Thank you again.
It was the least I could do. I have come to see you about a certain leather apron. Have you heard of him?
Oh, yes, of course. Terrible things are said about that man.
Have you ever come across him?
Goodness gracious, no. But I know that he has threatened and taken many girls in my situation. I don't know what more I can say, but Bella would be able to tell you some.
Who's Bella?
Who is Bella?
Bella Pullman. She's the landlady of the place where I could take you there if you like.
Where you
Please
work?
do.
Ah, right. Yeah,
It's
here's...
me. It's Lucy. This gentleman would like to speak to Bella. It's the doctor who helped me. I must leave to return to my uncle. Thanks again.
Are all the ladies who live in Whitechapel women of the night? Right, let's skip down to the clinic, because I've forgotten where it is again.
Good evening, Doctor. My name is Dr. Watson. Pleased to meet you.
Good evening. I am Dr. Gibbons. Likewise.
Doctor, meet doctor.
What can I do for you, my dear colleague?
Hi, apparently I need, well, I need the thing in my items.
What can I do for you, my dear colleague?
Apparently I cannot show you my glass bottle. Okay. Well, there's people here now. Sorry for disturbing you. Do I... There's the brothel. Lucy. Clinic. Police. Boarding house. I have not unlocked the police station. Finlay. I feel like maybe I shouldn't. Well, I'm probably not supposed to go and talk to him at, you know, extremely late o'clock. Never mind, there is his
A cobbler's shop.
boot and shoe repair.
Closed.
Well, yeah, it's 12:30 in the morning. I'm pretty sure he's asleep. So I really need to figure out where this is, because this is getting embarrassing. carry on.
I have no reason to go that
So
way.
it's not this direction. Pardon me. God, that must be so awkward. Just walking past, like, couples making out, ready to fornicate.
I have no reason to go that way.
No, fine. Excuse me, officer, I am lost. Right, so that's the clinic, and so we're heading through here. Right, it's down the streets from where all the way at the end of the streets and by the brothel. Okay, gotcha. In we go.
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Do you have a cold, sir? do you need me to prescribe you some medicine? What the hell?
Can I get a refill, please?
If you'd be patient, Madam Bella will arrive in a moment.
The background, like, sort of coffee shop talk doesn't really
Good evening,
fit
I
in
am
with
Dr.
the
Watson. It is young
location.
Lucy who told me to come see you.
Ah, so you're the Good Samaritan who saved her uncle without asking for anything in return. And now you've come to see me, no doubt, to explain that the poor little thing doesn't belong here, and you will see to her future. Well, if you
Well,
expect me to let her leave with you...
Oh, no.
It's not that, Ma'am. You should know I am a married man.
I
And
am?
why should that matter?
Oh. Bella, please.
I believe there has been a misunderstanding. The reason that Lucy sent me here is that you may be able to give me some information about Leather Apron.
Are you a doctor or a constable?
I am most certainly a doctor, but I am acting in this matter in a private capacity, and I would like to find this man.
Well, if you're able to rid us of him, I'll give you a week's worth of free passes. That man is a thorn in our sides. He spies on the girls in the streets and watches them inside the houses, spying through the windows. And
so
as
he's
soon
a
as they're
peeping
finished
Tom.
with a client, he jumps on them without any warning and forces them to give him their money. I've never seen him, but one of my girls was attacked by this man, and she said that he wore a leather apron and carried a knife. And his face, oh, he has a horrible head, with rat's eyes and a deformed mouth. She even said that she knew his name, Pizer or Pizer, I think. But I don't know where she can be found. Margie, Nutcracker, the girl I'm talking about, could tell you more, but I had to let her go last week.
I'm sorry, but why is one of your girls named Nutcracker? That doesn't really instill confidence in the guys who are going to sleep with her.
Why did you let Margie go?
The poor girl caught a shameful sickness, and the symptoms have attacked her face, if you know what I mean. So I gave her notice, and a little bit to help her along. I don't know where she is now, but she'll certainly be getting treatment at the clinic if she's still in the neighbourhood.
Did you speak to the police?
Pah, what would they do? Who cares about the girls in the streets?
Would you have received a visit from another doctor, a stranger by the name of Tumbletip?
I'm just like you, Doctor, sworn to secrecy in my profession. But as I've taken a fancy to you, I can tell you that this name is not unknown to me. And if you do me a little favour, it is possible I might remember something about him.
Yeah. Well then, what's...
What kind of favour must I do for you?
You see that man over there? He's a rich artist, a painter, a regular client round here. Well, yesterday, he came and left his cane in the umbrella stand in the hall before going into one of the rooms. Well, when he returned to this room, The cane had disappeared. It's a cane with a massive silver knob. Must be worth a fortune. He threatened to call the police unless he got free services in my establishment for a year. I'll be forced to accept, unwillingly, of course, given the services that he's demanding, unless the cane is found.
Sounds like he is a silver knob.
Did you question the residents regarding the theft?
They didn't see anything, and there's not one of them that would risk stealing from a client here.
Who was in the room when your weasel of a client was in the chambers?
There were a few that came and went, but Mary could tell you better than I can, 'cause she was the one at the counter yesterday.
Well, I'll talk to Mary then.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem, my angel.
Ah, you're a sweetie.
These paintings are suggestive, at the very least.
Oh God, please don't have a boob. I don't want to be Twitch banned.
What happened to this rug?
Oh, it's when we got a coal yesterday. I asked the young man to fill the pail. Came back to put it down, but his feet were covered in soot and he made a black print. Madam Bella said it was my fault and I got a shilling's penalty. I also have to clean the print and it's no picnic. He has immense feet, that boy.
Well then.
I heard that there was a theft yesterday. Did you see anything?
No, and I was here the whole time.
Who delivers the coal?
It's never the same person. I'd never seen that lad before.
Do you always keep an eye on the coat stand?
Oh, yes. Well, when the coal delivery came, a client came out of the chambers and stopped me from seeing the boy who brought the bucket of coal. You don't think he would have taken advantage?
Maybe he did.
Until next time, miss.
With pleasure, sir.
Who stole the silver cane? Better talk to this guy then. He looks like a tool.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, my dear man. I was led to believe that you're a doctor.
None of the residents of this establishment are among my patients, sir.
Oh, you're not here as a doctor, but as a man, then. I understand. This is my kind of place, too. It's in these houses in Whitechapel that you find the girls that are the most natural and definitely the most docile.
Your way of speaking about these women is not that of a gentleman, sir. I heard that you were the victim of a robbery here.
Dr. Watson.
Oh, I'm not complaining. The loss of that walking stick will certainly bring me a very pleasant compensation.
Well,
What does your cane look like?
The stick is ebony, about 35 inches long. The round knob is made from chiseled silver with a ring around the middle of the same workmanship, just like the tip, for that matter. If you find it, don't tell a soul. Keep it for yourself. Got it?
well, no, because you are not a
Well,
gentleman, sir.
goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, or until next time. And good evening.
I'm married. Excuse you.
Best not to stray off in that direction.
Well, no, probably not. So I need to find like a. Where's the hat stand? Maybe I need to inspect that. The umbrella stand, I suppose. Nope. That's some. Nope. Is it? Ma'am, where's the exit?
Best not to stray off in that
It's
direction.
not there. Here it is. Have you seen anything?
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
No, you're just mean. Okay. So I'm hearing a horse. I'm not seeing a horse. What's it through here then? That's best asked. the people I know, I guess, about the staff. Let's try the doctor and
The Wasp's Nest. This pub looks even more disreputable than the Golden Lion in Baker Street.
I'm playing these games in like the story order, by the way, not the order they were released, so the graphics quality is going to vary. Oh, here's the clinic. No? Right, the clinic was next to the brothel. My mistake. But I suppose we could. Isn't the police station over here? We could try asking. No, that is the brothel. I got them turned around again. Oh, here's the police station. Have you heard anything about the walking
The
stick?
night is cool. What a horrible summer we have had.
Now I can ask about Tumblety, but not the stick.
Does the
Well, might
name
as well.
Tumblety mean anything to you?
Not at all. But if you like, I can make inquiries.
Fine, why not? One never knows.
Cool. That's all I wanted,
Well,
sir.
goodbye.
What a horrible summer we've had indeed. Right, so... Excuse me, miss. Maybe I can ask Findlay. Have you seen a stick?
What do you want, Doctor?
You've not seen
Thank
a
you,
stick.
Finley.
At your service, sir.
There's the Bravo. Lucy wasn't out. Let's check if he's seen a stick. Have you seen a stick?
What can I do for you, my dear colleague?
Wow, you've
I
seen
have come
Hardy.
to see you about one of your patients. Margie goes by the nickname Nutcracker, who gets her prescription from the clinic. She's a lady of the night and is afflicted with a venereal disease.
I know who you're talking about. Indeed, Margie has syphilis and is being treated with mercury.
Do you have her address?
What?
No. And for your information, she left London for good 3 days ago. She felt threatened.
Where is your doctor-patient confidentiality, good sir?
Margie felt threatened. But by whom?
I believe that Margie was particularly scared of a terrifying man who attacked her once.
Did she say the name Pizer or Pyther?
Unfortunately, she didn't give a name, but she described a man with shifty, rat-like eyes and a mouth twisted in a sinister grimace.
That sounds like a guy we're looking for.
Did Margie have any idea where this man who terrified her so much might be found?
No, but she told me that another girl who'd been attacked like her had told her that this man worked in a cobbler's run by an old Israeli. Also, she saw him again last week, the night of the big fire. She told of going to see the fire like most everyone else in the area. While there, she recognised her attacker in the crowds gathered at the warehouses. There was no mistaking a face like that, she said. She kept an eye on the man the whole time the firemen were working in order to avoid him.
But wait, why did you call him an Israelite? Israel hasn't existed for this long.
Goodbye, Dr. Gibbons.
Until we meet again, my dear colleague.
Surely he'd be Palestinian, right? Oh, your cabinet is open. Close it, good man. So what? I've run out of. So what? I have to go. Bother. Oh no, cutscene.
This interview with the doctor revealed an important fact. Leather Apron could not be the Bucks Row murderer. According to Margie, the villain passed most of the night of the crime at the fire. He could not have been at the scene of the murder at the moment it was committed. He is nonetheless a dangerous character.
It's also like 1 o'clock in the morning at this point, isn't it? Shouldn't you be going home? I feel like I've run out of leads. Ooh. Hello, kitty cat. Off the table. So where to now? Maybe the police station again? Reveal the information we've collected to the poor overworked constable?
Some news, Doctor?
Yes, no, apparently not.
Well, goodbye.
Well, can I ask you about bottle of glass I got?
Some news.
No?
Well, goodbye.
Can I ask the doctor about this? I know I tried again, but...
I have no reason to...
Fine, I'll stay in Whitechapel. Maybe it's a different turn of events? I don't know.
What can I do for you?
Goodbye, Dr. Gibbons.
Until we...
Nothing, apparently. What have I missed? That I've missed.
A large, black footprint.
I missed
What
that.
can I do for you?
The footprints, please.
Pardon me, Doctor, but who made the large black footprints there near the beds?
The brother of one of my patients. The poor thing had a leg amputated after colliding with a carriage. We arranged to find her a prosthesis.
Prostheses are very expensive. How did this man pay?
He told me that one of his uncles gave him a walking stick with a chiselled silver knob. I agreed to accept this knob in exchange for a simple prosthesis with harness. But this object is of great value, and I could finance half a dozen other prostheses by selling it on Petticoat Lane.
Doctor, I have reason to believe that the silver knob that you possess is from a cane that was stolen by the man who brought it to you, and I believe I know to whom it belongs.
That's what I was worried about. The story of the uncle seemed a little strange. Nevertheless, you must have proof of what you claim. I will show you all of the knobs that we have here. If you find the knob that the young man gave me, I will believe you.
So be it, but something is bothering me. I will need a complete cane, not just a knob.
Don't worry, dear chap, build one. I can loan you some tools. Make use of the odds and ends in my cupboard. It'll help get rid of it.
Well, I shall try. I will have to remember the description that Sickert gave.
Oh, I know that.
Goodbye,
Silver
Dr.
knob,
Gibbons.
silver
Until
belt,
we meet again, my
silver
dear colleague.
tip, and 35 inches. Now you've closed it again, okay? Gosh. It was a blackwood, right? So... I think it's this one. And then... it was like that, and then... like this, and like... this?
There, all done.
Yeah.
Holmes couldn't have done better himself.
What can I do for you, my dear colleague?
Is this the knob you're looking for?
I believe I found the knob from the stolen cane, which I succeeded in putting back together.
That's the one. And yet I cannot give it to you, Doctor. I will only return it to the police, and only if there is an official complaint against me.
Would there be a way to convince you to give me the cane?
Find me a dozen solid adjustable harnesses for wooden leg prostheses, and it's yours, Doctor.
Well, I
Goodbye,
guess I'll
Dr. Gibbons.
Until we meet again, my dear colleague.
Guess I'll go back to the cobbler. They make harnesses, right? Also, stop with that one. And his cobbler shop was over here.
There's nobody here. How very odd.
Well, it's 1 in the morning.
I say, these things look like harnesses. Oh my, they are noisy. Good evening, sir. Pardon the interruption. The door was open. I didn't think that I would find anyone working at this hour.
Good evening, sir. I didn't hear you come in.
That's a magnificent beard.
Say, those things that made noise, they are really harnesses, aren't they?
Yes, horse harnesses. But I must tell you, sir, that the store is normally closed at this hour. That is why I've asked you to return tomorrow.
I didn't come about my shoes. I came to speak of a cobbler, perhaps one of your former employees? A man with very particular habits.
You aren't with the police by any chance? I'm sorry, but I do not want to speak of anything but shoes with you.
I'm not with the police.
I am not a policeman. I am Dr. Watson. It's Mr. Finlay, who told me that you might be in a position to inform me.
Ah, that Mr. Finlay is a very brave man. And if he sent you, then you must certainly be a worthy man also. So, Doctor, who is this cobbler with strange habits?
The man of whom I speak is called Pizer or Pyther, a man with a frightening face. Do you know him?
Yes, John Pizer. He worked here for a while, but he is no longer here.
Do you know where I can find him?
No, and if you look, you will not find him.
Why?
Because he is in hiding, Doctor. You see, a week ago, a horrible murder took place in the neighborhood. A rumor circulated that he might have been responsible for this crime. They say he has quarreled with women of certain virtue in the past, if you understand me.
Yes, but I have
Isaac,
proof he's...
it is about the Bucks Row case that I have come to see you. I have the certitude and an incontestable witness that Pizer is innocent, at least of this crime, although he has attacked a number of street women. If he doesn't come forward to explain himself to the authorities, he is condemned to hiding and to take the fall for this murder. Furthermore, it will cast suspicions on your community because they must be hiding him. And while the whole police force is hunting for him, they cannot concentrate on the real assassin who roams the streets and, one never knows, may take any one of you any day.
If what you say is true, your visit is a godsend to our community, Doctor. I tell you something. I know Sergeant Thick, an honest policeman who lives in the area. I'll tell John's family that he must go there to explain himself. But if you could please go as soon as possible to the police to give them this report that you say is incontestable.
I will go as soon as I take leave of you.
Thank you. If I can ever be of service in any way, do not hesitate to ask.
Oh, there is one thing. I need harnesses.
Say, those things that...
Yes,
that was
but I must...
Damn wrong
Could
button.
we transform your horse harnesses into harnesses for wooden legs? Adjustable harnesses?
A good craftsman can do anything, Doctor. And I do believe that's what I am. Come back in a while and it will be done. That will be my thanks for what you have done.
Sweet. Bye. Maybe I can go pass out soon.
I shall return later.
At your convenience, sir.
I am spent. I would like to return home. But I promised to go to the police as soon as I could. Now then, let's go to the police station.
Hell yeah. If I can remember where that is. Well, I suppose I've given up on that by now. Police station. Cat's meat.
Will you?
Yes.
Doctor, you seem tired. Were you wandering the darker parts of Whitechapel all night?
You could say that. I have some information on Leatherapron, the man of whom we spoke earlier.
Do you know where he is?
No, but I can clear him of the Bucks Row crime. A witness proved him totally innocent.
Oh, Watson, Watson, is it only now, after many hours of walking, that you decide to pass on the important message that Inspector Aberline is waiting for?
But, no. But what are you doing here, Holmes?
I was worried, Watson, and with good reason it would appear. Go give the message to this policeman and let's go home. Nobody appreciates me hanging around here, you know, and it's freezing cold.
Ah, Creddle, none too soon. You will take the testimony of this.
No, you continue with your duty shift. I must find Chandler in Ambury Street. He's struck again.
Who?
The murderer, the Bucks Row assassin.
Hanbury Street. Let's go, Watson. We have no time to lose.
Not really now. I don't remember where Hanbury Street is.
I have no reason.
So it is here. Police, boarding house, Lucy's lodgings. We have no time to lose, he says, but apparently I will be running around figuring out where this is.
I have no. I have no. I have.
Help me out here, Sherlock. Where do you want me?
I have.
Maybe it's not in there. Maybe. Oh, look at that! There's a tiny little.
Hanbury Street. Let's go, Watson. We have no time to lose.
Tiny little dot. Oh, I have been walking around all night apparently.
You can go in, Mr. Holmes. She's there. We didn't touch a thing.
I'm not a police officer. Why are you giving me police clearance? I'm gonna head up here to begin with. These are some grimy ass windows. Reminds me, I need to clean my own windows soon. Rip.
It was very good of PC Chandler to let us pass. He said no one has touched the corpse. It's the perfect opportunity for us to put our skills to the test. Watson, let's not waste it.
There's a blood splatter.
The blood is a dozen inches or so from the ground. Bloodstains on the wall.
We'll deal with that later. M28.
A torn envelope. It smells of rubbing alcohol. It contains 3 pills. I will take one. 2 should suffice for the police.
That's tampering with
A
evidence.
piece of coarse muslin. 2 combs, curiously arranged. There are no trails on the ground. There's no sign of a struggle. So, Doctor, shall we examine our victim?
Ah, I'm tired, Holmes. I'm not sure if I am in a state to do this work.
Come, Watson, there is little time. Show me what you're made of.
Fine. Poor man.
Oh, my God.
Pray, Watson, pull yourself together. Can you establish the time of the crime?
The extremities of the corpse are cold and rigor mortis is beginning to set in. I would say that the murder was committed over 2 hours ago, before 4:30 a.m.
Well done. Oh, good God, that's...
This fence separates the courtyard from the neighbours' 27 Hanbury Street. This apron is soaked with water and has left a clear mark on the ground. It must have been left in water for several hours and has been there for some time. What a stench! Nobody is hiding inside. I have nothing to ask.
Alright, let's have a look at this. This is pretty gruesome.
Let's look at this poor woman more closely. A bruise. The victim's face appears to have bruising, wouldn't you say?
Under the maxilla and cheek. There is less on the right side.
Look at her neck. What can you tell me?
There are 2 incisions.
Look at her neck. What can you tell me?
There are 2 incisions.
My fingers are red.
The tongue is swollen.
She's missing a tooth. Well, at least one tooth.
Looky here. It would seem he has a mark on his left hand.
On his left hand? This is a woman, Sherlock.
The victim must have worn a large ring or several little ones, and someone pulled them off forcefully. This detail will be very valuable, Watson. You can be sure of that.
How about this? This is just normal wear and tear on the hands.
Now let's look at the stomach, or at least what remains of it.
It's dreadful, Holmes. Who could do that to someone?
That's what you're here for, Watson. Tell me what this man has done.
The stomach has been entirely opened and... oh, my God! A number of organs have been removed.
So you're telling me that the organs were removed, Watson? They weren't ripped out?
Not at all, Holmes. On the contrary, this is clearly the work of an expert. I couldn't have done any better myself. And the uterus is missing.
Oh my.
My dear Watson, now that we have found all of our clues, nothing remains but to subject them to our most likely hypotheses in order to deduce the facts.
The facts, right, let's... I do appreciate that you're using the actual murder victims' portraits. Let's see here. Combination of, well, neither footsteps nor streaks of blood on the ground, so the victim was not dragged. Blood on the fence is 12 inches off the ground, and some blood spurted on the walls near the stairs. The victim had her throat slit while lying down, I'd say. And in this combination, it took place on the premises. The victim has bruise under the right jawbone and beneath the left cheek, so he held the chin with his right hand and slit it with his left. Once again, I can't tell the difference between right and left. There we go. The tongue is bloated, so she was strangled. She was partially strangled. Envelope is near the victim's head. Was brought out by the victim. She held it. There we go. see. The items of the victim's feet are very orderly. They belong to the victim. The body's cold. Committed over 2 hours ago. Recent large scrape on the first phalanx of the middle finger. She had a ring. These items belong to the victim. She has he's unfeeling and organized. The victim must have worn one or more finger ring. He stole her rings for whatever reason. Maybe he's broke. There is an incision from the right to the left going around the neck. There is an incision on the neck from the right side, stopping in the middle. And the wound around the neck is jerky and not at all in one place. So it was a bad knife. Organs are missing. Short. Used a big knife. Not a bad knife, a sharp knife. And organs were taken. Yes, a Chapman's killer lost a uterus. It's a knowledge of anatomy.
I hear a noise coming from the street, Watson. The authorities are arriving. It's time for us to go.
Holmes has been locked away in his room for days, always saying the same things. I'm thinking, Watson. Very good, Watson. As you wish, Watson. But I am thinking too, so much so that I can't sleep. Annie Chapman. Good Lord. Holmes examined the broken jar that belonged to Finley's tenant. I wonder what this substance is. I don't recognize the odour.
Formalin, Watson. This jar contained formalin. Interesting,
Hello.
don't you think? I've been waiting for something for days. Just the tiniest bit of news that would make sense of this whole matter. But there's nothing, neither from the press nor the police. Unless Inspector Aberline is holding on to some information without realizing its importance, which is quite possible. It is time for you to return to the police station in Whitechapel, Watson. And didn't you tell me that you had a matter to take care of it? Take advantage of it to learn more about this pill and its contents.
Ah, but Holmes, it's late, and spending another night in this district is hardly my idea of entertainment.
I know, Doctor, but we don't have any choice. Time is against us. Take your pistol in case you run into any troublesome characters.
I'm
Fine,
gonna shoot people.
as you wish, Holmes.
I thought this was a peaceful puzzle game. Don't make me shoot people. What, it took me 4 hours to get to Whitechapel?
Good evening. I hope I'm not disturbing you.
Not at all, Doctor. This man, Mr. Richardson, is a witness to the horrid affair at 29 Hanbury Street, the murder of Annie Chapman. We are discussing the relevance of his testimony.
The relevance.
You're probably not in a position to discuss it with me, but I would like to know more about what you call the relevance of this young man's testimony.
Oh, there's no secrecy. It's simply that the testimony given by Mr. Richardson doesn't match the time of death given by the coroner, Dr. Phillips.
What was the time of death, according to him?
Before 3:30 in the morning.
Well, that's what we concluded
My
as
conclusions were the same. Were there any other conflicting testimonies?
Well, 2 other witnesses summoned at the preliminary inquest gave testimony, but in these cases too, the times don't match.
Do you remember what it was they said?
I didn't question them myself. A colleague of mine took down their statements on paper, but on deciding they were of little use, he tore them up and threw them in the bin. There's no point in being bogged down with useless paperwork.
That's... God, that's...
I
the
will take my leave,
stupidity
Humphreys.
of
Goodbye, Doctor.
this. Can I talk to you about
May
your
I
testament?
introduce myself? I'm Dr. Watson. I am...
You wouldn't be the chap what writes the detective stories in that there paper?
Well, yes, indeed, my stories have been published in the Strand.
Go, blimey, wanna tell me old mum?
It would seem your testimony is the subject of some debate. Could you tell me what it was about?
They'll be telling I'm a bit befuddled about the times that I told them. But it can't be so. I knows what I sees and what I don't sees that morning.
What did you see, or what didn't you see? And at what time, would you say?
I'll tell you this for nothing. It's me old mum who lives at the house where the body was found out back in the garden. She has her shop at the bottom to the right of the stairs. Her door was broken down not too far back because it's a real zoo it is. Right, the morning it happened, I head that way to see if me old mum has finally had the place broken into. It was 4:45 when I got there. That I'll swear on me dear old mum's life. I had a look round to see if the cellar had been taken. No. I had a little sit down on the stairs by the courtyard because me shoes were causing me no end of pain and I had a cut and all. I didn't see a single thing below the steps, Doctor, not one single thing. If there was some bird all covered in blood, tain't no how I could have missed that, even if it were night time. Right, 5 minutes after getting to number 29, I had to clip off. And now they tells me that either I can't tell time no more, or I was fixing me loafer next to a stiff that was still steaming. All right then. Evening, gents.
That was a hell of a way to tell a tale.
Look, a suspect description. Michael Ostrog wanted for questioning. Dangerous.
The others are apparently not so dangerous. Old police report concerning certain arrests. James Longfoot Jim Noser, 20, Whitechapel.
An old report on arrests that took place a few years earlier. Here are the ripped statements. I can piece them together again.
Right. Puzzle. Hang on, do these match? No. So... that matches. That doesn't. That also doesn't. Nope. How about this? Yes, there we go. Nope. This one? Yes, there we go. So this one has to belong here somewhere. Alright, so like this and this. Okay, got it. And... No idea. No, drop that. Thank you. That doesn't look right, but sure. Well, something isn't right in my testimonies here. Let's see. I see. I got that one completely wrong. Um, that explains it.
There, all
There we
done.
go.
Holmes couldn't have done better himself.
You say that, but that testimony of Elong. On the morning of the murder, the witness left her domicile at 32 Church Street at approximately 5 a.m. to get to Spitalfield Street, Spitalfield Market. She was passing down Hanbury Street at about 5:30 a.m. The witness was certain of the time, as she declares that she heard the clock at the Black Eagle Brewery on Brick Lane strike the half hour just before she entered the street. In front of 29 Hanbury Street, she saw a man and woman talking. It should be noted that the witness identified the body of Annie Chapman at the morgue as being the aforementioned woman. This identification was solicited by our services. And the man seen with the victim is described by the witnesses as follow: aged at least 40 years old, height a little taller than the woman with whom she was discussing, approximately 5 feet 3 inches. Clothing: brown deerstalker hat, dark coat, a doubt on this point, general appearance of the working class. Particular markings: dark hair and mustache, dark face, looks like a foreigner. The witness only saw the man from behind and wouldn't be able to recognize or identify him. The term foreigner is often associated with a person of Jewish origin. So she's racist. And the testimony of A. Kadosh. The witness resides at 27 Hanbury Street, the building adjoining number 29 of the same street, and the two respective backyards are separated by a wooden fence, tall and thin. On the morning of the murder, the witness got up at 5:15 a.m. and went into the yard where the latrine was. It was then 5:20 a.m. On going back into the house, the witness heard voices from behind the fence coming from number 29. The only word that he understood was no. He went into the building again but returned to the yard approximately 4 minutes later, whereupon he heard a noise as if something fell against the fence. He then departed for work. When he passed in front of the Spitalfields church, it was approximately 5:32 a.m.
Yes, Doctor?
So, how far along are the investigations into these two recent murders?
Everyone around here believes both crimes were committed by the same man. But as for the Hanbury Street and Bucks Row crimes, nobody has heard or seen a thing.
Hold on.
By the way, have you heard of a Dr. Tumblety?
No. Is it important?
Yes. Well, no, maybe. Actually, I don't know. I have heard about this man, his frequent nocturnal outings and bizarre behaviour.
What does this chap look like, Doctor? And where can we find him?
That's a good question.
The last I heard was that he was staying at Finley's place, the man who was looking for me a few days ago.
It would greatly assist us if you could ask Finley what your strange associate looks like. We could then see if the description matches any witness accounts.
I will take my leave, Humphreys.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Bye-bye. Why am I doing your job for you? Go back to sweeping.
There is a strong smell of gas. It seems to be coming from the abandoned building. Good evening, Finley. How are you?
Oh, good evening, Doctor. So. And you?
I'm good, but why does it smell of gas?
It smells of gas here.
You might say, Doctor, without wanting to speak ill of the force, I have to wonder if the police are up to something.
What do you mean?
Well, I was outside yesterday evening when the light went out at my place, and a gas smell came from the abandoned building across from my place. And a minute later, the police arrived and were snooping all around like it was them who hit the gas before arriving.
Have things sorted themselves out with your strange tenant?
Don't talk about it, Doctor. That man is truly bizarre. He goes to the most sordid locations once night falls. 3 days ago, my wife told me she saw him come in with blood-stained clothes and a fearsome look.
Oh my.
Interesting. What does he look like, and how old is he?
Oh, he's my age, give or take, so the other side of 50. He's always dressed in a striking manner, with an American hat. He's big, close to 5'11", I'd say. He has a strange voice, not just his accent, see, his voice.
Thank you.
Very well. Goodbye for now, Finley.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Let's go snoop
Now
up
then,
around.
let's go to the police station.
Oh no, I'm gonna... I can't.
There is a strong smell.
Thank you. Is that all I can do here? Yes, okay. Back to the police we go. So, roughly 50 years old. Strange American hat. Peculiar voice?
Yes, Doctor.
Tumblety is a man around 5'11", about 55 years old, extravagantly dressed and with a rather distinctive voice. He boards at Finley's. You should know where that is, as the police were there only yesterday. Their arrival coincided with a strange gas leak.
Ah, yes, I know where you mean. Indeed, there was an odd affair with the gas. It was rather unsettling. We were searching for a well-known scoundrel who was ratted out by Squibby, the chap we followed and saved from the pack a few days ago. This thug, No Pity Bluto, must have been in the abandoned building in question. But there was no sign of him when we arrived. Furthermore, an inspector said that, given the smell, the thingamabob that supplies gas to the building was probably damaged. So we took no risks and were called away somewhere else.
The thingamabob.
I will take my leave, Humphreys.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Right, so do I go back to Finley's now then? I should probably go to the cobblers, but I don't know, do I talk to you again about it?
Anything else, Doctor?
No.
Very well. Goodbye for...
Goodbye.
Goodbye. So, the cobblers, yes?
Good evening, Mr. Solomonovich.
Good evening, Doctor. What a pleasure to see you again.
That's nice.
Have you finished converting the harnesses?
Yes, just now. I got a little behind because of all the commotion.
The
Commotion?
Don't you start. 3 days ago, the very afternoon that you passed by, there was a chase throughout the neighborhood. Hundreds of people were chasing one man, claiming he was responsible for the murders these last few days. Schmonz! It was awful. I hope those maniacs didn't catch him. Better the police should.
Okay.
Tell me, did John Pizer turn himself in to the police?
Things unfolded as they should. Look in the newspaper, the Daily News from today.
Farewell, Isaac.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Pizer was released last evening, but Pigott, being considered to be insane, is to be detained under observation. Oh, rip. Poor dude. Considered to be insane. Also, given this is a humongous building and all, how come there's only one room? Like, there's... God is truth. God is good, God is truth, God is holy. So this used to be an old church then? Where's the stairs upstairs? I have your harnesses.
Good evening, Dr. Gibbons.
Dr. Watson.
Did you keep the cane we spoke of last time?
I was going to sell it tomorrow, would you believe, having not heard word.
Here are your harnesses, Doctor.
They are top quality, I'd say. Definitely worth the price of this walking stick. Here, it's yours.
Do you have any formalin here?
No, definitely not. They have it in university hospitals to conserve anatomical specimens in jars. But in a little clinic like mine, we don't keep anything but bad memories.
Well, farewell, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
Can I ask you about the pillow?
I must go to Miss Bella's.
Yeah, but... Can I ask you about this?
Yes, Doctor?
Yes, I can.
Could you tell me what type of pill this is?
Yes, we have those here. It's not really a medication. We give them to patients with chronic respiratory conditions like tuberculosis.
Did you have a patient by the name of Annie Chapman, the woman killed 3 days ago?
Indeed. She came in the morning of her death. Poor woman.
Did you give her these pills?
Yes, now that I think of it. She actually came in twice. The first time I gave her an almost empty container without making her pay. She came back during the day and said she dropped the container and stepped on the pills. She wanted to know if I could give her more again without paying. I refused. After she left, a patient who was there told me that he lives at the same place and confided that she had been lying. He saw the pills fall in the tenement's communal kitchen, but the woman immediately wrapped them up in a piece of paper.
Where did this paper come from?
According to this man, she'd found it near the chimney in the kitchen.
Anyone could have thrown that paper there. That envelope can't have anything to do with the murder.
Pardon, Doctor?
Nothing. I was just talking to myself.
Well then.
Well,
Goodbye.
farewell, Doctor.
Goodbye, Dr. Watson.
I must go to Miss Bella's.
Yes. Do you still hate me?
Out of the way, I don't like the look of you.
Okay. Where's the stick?
Good evening, ma'am. Your door was open. Isn't that a little dangerous?
Hello, Doctor. Don't worry, if the looks of anyone who enters doesn't please me, me and my pistol know how to convince them to leave.
I found the cane that was stolen from your client. Here it is.
Doctor, you are a real saint, I can see that. I'll finally be able to present my bill to this damned painter. If by chance you see him, tell him that a little surprise awaits him here.
Well, he isn't in.
You told me you would give me some information on this Dr. Tumblety.
Agreed. He's a Canadian or an American. He parades from time to time through the neighbourhood in a 50-guinea suit and acts like a doctor. But for business, he isn't worth it. This damn Yankee hates women. The few times that he was approached by the girls, he spit on them, all the while hurling insults. It would seem that he was hunting for the bad boys. He's looking for trouble, that animal.
Does he frequent any pub in particular?
Aye, the Wasp's Nest on Burner Street, I think. A seedy spot even by our standards.
Well then.
Do you happen to know Annie Chapman, the poor woman who was killed 3 days ago?
Dark Annie? Like all the drifters in the area, I've seen her once or twice. With respect to the dead, Annie really was the bottom of the barrel.
What do you mean?
Well, in our profession, the pretty young ones go out when night has barely fallen and don't have a problem finding takers. But poor girls like Annie or Polly Nichols, who aren't as tender and are often sick, sometimes trudge around for a whole night in the cold and the rain before landing a client. And that doesn't help their appearances either. They don't have much choice about paying for a bed for a few hours, a glass of gin or a hot meal.
How terribly sad.
That's the price of survival in Whitechapel, my angel. One of my girls knew Annie for some time. They bought some jewellery on the black market, I think.
Jewellery? How could Annie Chapman have possibly afforded jewellery?
Luxuries for a woman are always relative to her condition, Doctor. As a matter of fact, it was real cheap junk. Annie got 3 assorted brass rings, I think. It's been said I have a memory for jewellery.
Is that why yours are painted on?
How is Lucy keeping?
She's doing well, Doctor. But believe me, it won't last. Rare are the girls who can build a future in our profession.
Very well, I shall let you get back to work, Ma.
See you soon, my love.
Well, he is definitely not here tonight.
Best not to stray off in that direction.
It's almost over here. No. Over here. No. 4 times the charm. There we go. So do I head to the Wasp's Nest then?
The Wasp's Nest?
Yes. Oh, there he is.
Good evening, sir.
Well, I know you. Why, we met at Miss Poolman's the other day. So you've come to slum it in Whitechapel, eh?
Not exactly.
Do you know Dr. Tumblety, a Canadian or American chap? Quite an extravagant dresser. Frequents this pub now and then.
Are you intimate?
No. What do you mean by that?
Oh, nothing. Nothing at all. I just wanted to prove my discretion concerning this man, insomuch and so far as I know him. You wouldn't like it if one day the tables were turned and everyone was talking about why you were in the borough. Isn't that so?
I suppose,
As
yes.
it happens, I saw Miss Poolman recently. She told me that she couldn't wait to see you again. She said something about a surprise that is waiting for you at her establishment.
Why, that is some of the best news I've heard, my friend. As thanks, I would like to let you in on a secret. The man that you were talking about, and whom I happen to know by sight, passed by and went through that little door that you see over there. Another man let him in. They weren't together for more than a few minutes, to be sure, eh?
Well, thank you for that.
Well, I will continue my search.
Ah, love.
But what is this person trying to imply? This matter is beyond me.
How about you?
Good evening, sir.
It'll be the coup of my career, Governor said. Ha! You'll make loads of dosh of the paper, he said.
You're a journalist?
You're a journalist?
That's so. Tom Bulling at your service. The Whitechapel ferret, the wizard with the scoop.
You don't appear to be in a state to write anything, my friend.
You're mistaken. Whiskey passes through the blood and turns into ink. Simple. You see, mugs and inkwells are all the same.
Don't you think you should settle your tab and go home?
My red ink? Where's my red ink? I won't even pay half a halfpenny if they don't return my red ink. It's my blood you hear.
Very well, I'll be on my way.
You're right with your blood?
This is the sink where the barmaid puts the glasses to soak. Look, red ink. What's that doing here? The bottle is closed. There must still be some ink inside, and it looks like a glass. The barmaid must have put ink into the sink by mistake.
Right. Do I get in your way? Me?
If you'll excuse me, sir.
Sorry, sir.
Oi, what'll it be to drink, Gav?
Nothing, thanks. How about you?
Greetings, my good man. Could I have a pint?
Here, Gov.
I've been told that Dr. Tumblety might be found around here. Is that so?
I don't do a roll call of all the drunkards here. I've got my hands full just making sure I get their money.
You know, that's fair.
Don't people pay when they order?
Nah, look at that little scribbler there. Completely dead drunk. Tonight's tally is about as long as his arm. If he skips out, I'll be in for a guinea almost.
Goodbye, my friend.
Oi, that's it.
What? I... Trying to be friendly, Jesus.
You're the best. The boss told me. My red ink. Well, where's she be?
I got your red ink.
I found your red ink, my friend. You should settle up and head home.
Thank you, my friend, thank you. The spring-heeled phantom will be revived.
Did he pay?
Gov?
Here you go. It's on the journalist, my friend.
I owe you one. The next one is on me. What'll it be?
Nothing, thanks. But I may need your help. Listen, my friend. I would like you to let me in the door over there.
You're a bobby. A peeler?
Absolutely not, my friend. I am a doctor.
Fine. I owe you this at least. There's a bloke behind that door there. No pity Bluto.
Oh my.
Let's just say he wants to lay low for a moment. So I don't think he'll be opening the door just now. Unless... Tell him you have word from Squibby. They'll open the door. But who can say what'll happen when the door closes?
Thank you.
Goodbye, my friend.
Oi! That's it!
I'm trying to be friendly here, you know. Nothing exciting over here. Knock knock.
Let me in. I have news from Squibby. But stay calm.
Boo.
And who are you? Where's Squibby? He's out.
To be honest, I don't actually know this Squibby chap. I was actually wondering if you knew Dr. Tumblety, a Canadian or American fellow. He came in...
Sure we know him.
Excellent. Can you...
You know about gas?
I'm afraid not. I am a doctor.
Then I ain't interested. You can be leaving now. But if I find out who snitched to the peelers, I'll find you. Got it?
But I can pay you for...
Keep your coins for the paupers, or one of the gas boys who ain't afraid of nothing and knows how to hold his tongue. You bring him to me. I'll meet with you.
Boop.
Well, it would seem that I have all the information I need for my investigation.
How do you know
Anyway, this fellow Bluto at the Wasp's Nest is rather shady and doesn't look like he'll want to cooperate. I'd be better off returning to Baker Street. Holmes will certainly know what to do. And besides, I am worn out.
And let's head home.
Let's go back to Baker Street. Home, sweet home. There we are, Holmes. I've told you in great detail everything that happened last night.
Excellent work, Watson. We shall now be prepared to answer a few questions about the horrible murder in Hanbury Street.
Do you think we are now in a position to find out the identity of the murderer of these two women?
No, I don't think so. It's outside of our scope and not our responsibility. As much as you've done for Leather Apron and the affair with the pills, our mission is to help the police by ensuring that they don't get caught up following false leads and to point them in the right direction. Let us start from what we know with some certitude. As you have just said, it is almost certain that the same person killed the Bucks Row and Hanbury Street victims. The reasons to assume as much are numerous, and I shan't elaborate here. What do these two victims have in common?
They had the same profession.
It's true, these two women were in the same profession, but...
Indeed, Watson. These two women were both prostitutes. That is of vital importance, Watson.
My memory from your examination of the scene is rather hazy. Didn't you say something about the killer's frame of mind?
I was talking about the victim's possessions that were placed on the ground and the rings missing from Annie Chapman's fingers. This killer is a cunning predator, comes from a rather humble background and shows steely self-control in carrying out the murders.
Something is puzzling me, Holmes. Richardson's testimony contradicts the time of death given by Dr. Phillips, which also matches my own, 4:30 a.m.
And yes, we shall confirm that, Watson, and attempt to determine the precise time of death. In order to do that, we will need to place everyone involved on a timeline. Only after that will we be able to place the knife symbolizing our killer. Let's look at our timeline, Watson.
Oh boy. I am now Sherlock Holmes. Estimate the time. Oh, God. Time of death according to Dr. Watson and Phillips at 4:30 a.m.
Let's put the time of death as assessed by Dr. Phillips on the timeline. The assessment of the time of the murder given by Dr. Phillips and yourself, Watson, 4:30 a.m.
Sherlock and Watson arrives at the crime scene. That's... that was around 6... That was 6:28, wasn't it?
We left the station at 6 o'clock and it took us 20 minutes to arrive at Hanbury Street.
Okay, so 6:20.
Our arrival at the scene occurred at around 6:20. Given the distance separating the two locations, we can deduce that the corpse wasn't discovered after 6 o'clock and therefore that the murder must have been committed before.
Right, and then now what? Do I have anything else I'm supposed to be putting up? Help. Select from the inventory the dialogue and the two documents which will permit you to determine the time of Annie Chapman's death. in Hanbury Street. Then place the objects of the characters representing these testimonies on the timeline. Once all the icons are properly placed, Sherlock Holmes will ask you to place Jack the Ripper's knife at the exact same address. Okay, so... Alright, so I double click on them. There's the testimonies. Yeah, look at that, yeah. And then 2 dialogues. One of them is probably... the guy in the police station. What the hell? Miss Long sees a woman speaking to a man.
Now, for the most important part, the testimony of Miss Long. She claims to have seen a woman speaking to a man near 29 Hanbury Street sometime around... What time, Watson?
5:30.
Let us assume, therefore, that Miss Long's testimony is, as is most certainly the case, true. She places her meeting with the victim at around 5:30, claiming to have heard a clock chime on the half hour at the moment when she enters the street.
Right, and then Mr. Kadosh is in his garden for a few minutes and goes back in, hears a voice. At 5:20.
Our next witness is Albert Kadosh. Albert Kadosh goes down into his garden at approximately 5:20, and on re-entering his home, hears voices in number 29's garden.
And when did he hear something fall? 4 minutes later, so 5:24.
Let's place this symbol that represents Kadosh on the timeline. Kadosh goes back down into his garden approximately 4 minutes after having left it, and hears the sound of an impact against the wooden fence.
And then the last one was
Let's place this symbol
5:32.
that represents Kadosh on the timeline. Kadosh leaves the garden, enters his house, then leaves for work, seeing the clock on the Spitalfields church showing 5:32.
Then I need 2 dialogues. Where was it? That was not the correct one. Dialogues where there. Oh, there we go. Richardson's arrives as his mother's. When did you do that? 4:45.
Now, let's put the Richardsons' arrival and departure times on the timeline.
So 4. Oops. And he left again 5 minutes later.
Now, let's put the Richardsons... Despite the great respect I have for Dr. Phillips and the value I place on our friendship, my deepest conviction is that both of you are mistaken and that Richardson is in the right and that these two testimonies put down in writing have real worth.
But how? Explain yourself, Holmes.
Remember how you assessed the time of death? You touched the fingers and body of the victim, but it was remarkably cold for this time of year. In addition, the corpse had been drained of bodily fluids. Its heat retention was therefore no longer the same as that of an intact corpse.
Egad! You're right, Holmes.
Oh, I've had some time to research, Watson.
Given these facts, my first diagnosis may have been off by half an hour, perhaps even an hour.
Thus, we can confirm Richardson's statement and establish that the murder was committed after 4:50 a.m. and not before 4:30 a.m. Excellent, Watson. All our people are now in place.
Yes, but Holmes, Miss Long claims to have seen the victim at around 5:30. But according to Kadosh, someone, most certainly the victim and her murderer, was already in the garden at 5:30.
Excellent observation, Watson. It must be noted, however, that these two witnesses, Long and Kadosh, saw the time shown on the clocks in the area, which are often inaccurate and went by their empirical and, in this case, erroneous estimate of how much time had passed. Thus, neither of these two times can be considered reliable.
Do you mean to say that these two testimonies might match?
Indeed. Let's put Miss Long's meeting with the victim at 2 minutes before 5:30.
Where's Miss Long?
Let's add Miss Long's meeting with the victim at 2 minutes before 5:30 a.m. Mr. Kadosh claims to have passed by the Spitalfields Church at 5:32, which, given the distance from 27 Hanbury Street, would mean he was still at home at 5:31. Let's therefore put the end of his testimony at 5:31. Miss Long heard the man say to the victim, "Will you?" To which the victim responded, "Yes," which would suggest that an agreement was reached and that the transaction was imminent. They then proceeded to enter the garden, which puts the voices heard by Kadosh at 5:29.
She's this one. No, this one.
We had thought that Kadosh had left 27 Hanbury Street at 5:31 after having heard an impact against the fence. Thus, 2 minutes passed between the moment when Kadosh entered the house after having been in the garden the first time and the moment when he returns to go out again and leave for work. How long did he estimate this interval to be? 3 to 4 minutes. In light of all this, Watson, we can finally establish the time of Chapman's murder. Now, place the knife at the exact time.
Hold on here, Mr. Sherlock. I didn't catch all that. Let's see. 2 minutes passed between the moment when Kadosh entered the house after having been in the garden the first time and the moment when he returns to go out again and leave for work. So... Three to 4, so it's...
Now then, taking into account that the local clock isn't exact and that a young man was off by a minute or two in his estimations of his comings and goings, we can confirm Miss Long's testimony and place the time of the crime at approximately 5:30.
But in that case, Holmes, the man that Miss Long saw is none other than...
That's right, Watson. It was the Whitechapel killer.
To think that Miss Long and Kadosh were only a few feet away from him.
Indeed, Watson. Had Miss Long passed just a little closer to the victim and her assassin, or had the young Kadosh popped his head over the fence out of curiosity, the killer would most certainly already be behind bars.
That's some stroke of luck he had there.
I couldn't agree more, Watson. But his luck didn't end there, given the mutilations inflicted upon this poor woman. What must be considered above all is the killer's obvious wish to remove one and only one specific organ. His surgery pinpointed the exact spot, avoiding superfluous incisions. This suggests the man possesses at least a minimal anatomical knowledge.
Are you suggesting a doctor or a butcher?
Perhaps, but the possibilities are still too broad to conclude with any certainty. Now for the motive. Despite my almost complete lack of practical experience on the subject, I have a rather precise idea of the usefulness of a uterus and a vagina. Nonetheless, once they are separated from their usual envelope, I am more circumspect as to the uses one can make of them. What do you think, Watson? We need a board, Watson.
Sherlock Holmes. As, what could have been the possible motive of the crime? Specimen for assault purposes study, black magic, cannibalism, trophy, or money. In a medical university environment, students easily have access to a number of specimens.
Perhaps it was intended as a study specimen.
I have little faith in that theory. Hardly anything was taken from the Bucks Row victim.
Money?
Money, quite simply.
Even if this motive seems incongruous, we're in no position to deny or affirm it until we know whether a market for human organs exists.
So I'm gonna put that down as a yes. Black magic.
Black magic?
Watson, this line of investigation is far too vague. We don't have a single clue in support of such a motive. We can eliminate this hypothesis.
Dementia can push men to commit incredibly vile acts, so... trophy? No, cannibalism.
Holmes, what if it was cannibalism?
Even if the idea is unbearable, we can't ignore it as a possibility.
So that's a yes. Trophy. For this motive, it would have been easy to quickly remove something from the Bucks Row victim, Polynicles.
Elementary. What emerges from these possible motives for having removed the uterus from the second victim is that they implied that the killer could have carried out the same thing on the Bucks Row victim, yet didn't. This brings us to a terrible conclusion. Our killer has evolved in the space of only a few days, and if that's the case, had he already struck before the first murder to which we attribute him? And if the killer strikes again, what atrocity awaits his next victim?
We have to stop him, Holmes.
We shall do our best. This recent business of jars filled with formalin and of the American doctor might be a lead. Watson, inquire among medical circles to ascertain if there is a black market for human organs. The chances are slim, but this must be pursued.
Very well. What about you, Holmes?
I will send word to Inspector Aberline regarding our recent conclusions. I should also like to become a gas man and pay a visit to Bluto at the Wasp's Nest.
Understood, Holmes. I think one of my old university colleagues who works at the London hospital will be able to help me. I shall write him a note at once. He should be able to see me during the day. Afterwards, shall we meet here?
Yes, Watson. See you later, and good luck.
I must get to the London hospital, where my old university colleague works. I must get to the London hospital, where my old university colleague works.
Indeed.
To the London hospital, quick! My colleague agreed to meet me here in one of the London hospital rooms reserved for students.
Ah, John, you're there already. Punctual as always. Tell me, you don't seem to be in good shape. Is it possible that your recent marriage is making you this morose?
Ah, you know me well, Andrew. No, it's a strange and terrible affair that concerns me. Have you read my note?
Yes, I admit that I was surprised. It just so happens that I, too, was asking questions about our morgue.
Really? How about the organ
What do you
trafficking?
think? Have you heard of any organ trafficking within?
No, John. No doubt there exists some exchange between colleagues. Not quite legal, of course, but nothing that can qualify as trafficking. Since the Anatomy Act of 1832, which permitted the use of unclaimed corpses for science, the black market trade was definitely halted. There are sufficient subjects available for all practitioners and students. Of this I can confirm.
Well, organ trafficking as a lucrative trade is out of the question. Then what is troubling you with the morgue?
You are talking about trafficking organs, but I suspect there is trade in whole bodies.
Oh, well now.
What do you mean to say? Whole bodies are disappearing?
Well, it's confidential, but I know of your discretion and your friendship with the famous Sherlock Holmes. I can tell you that a few corpses have recently disappeared from the hospital morgue. Cadavers that were intended for dissection. That is to say, not claimed. Poor, unknown people. If a single corpse had disappeared, it might have been a bad joke. There are many students who pass through here. It's even a meeting spot. For the majority, they are here to work. A few come here in secret to practice. It also happens that instruments or organs go missing. Nothing alarming, but so many corpses. It's very troubling.
It's not alarming when an organ goes missing?
But the hospital doctors aren't doing anything?
No. That is to say, they would prefer not to call the police at this point. An investigation would no doubt result in the suspension of authorizations for the use of unclaimed corpses. Do you think that you could intercede on our behalf with Sherlock Holmes to clear up this situation?
I'll do my best.
Which corpses are missing?
I don't know exactly, but I can make an exact list if you would like to wait here for a few minutes. Feel free to look around the room while you wait. It'll bring back memories.
Thank you, Andrew.
Indeed.
The last lesson must have been about the human heart. And for a class of beginners, I expect, as this diagram is rather rudimentary.
That's babies in jars, that's...
There is a heart in this jar. Based on its colouring, it hasn't been there long. And it looks like the drawing on the board. This jar contains 2 lids with combination locks.
Well, this is a puzzle that I can't solve yet. Number 6 then.
Incredible! There is a magnet with a hook behind this pane of glass. I am in need of something.
The magnet, probably. Oh, it's one of these things, yeah. Oops. Careful. Oof.
There, all done. Holmes couldn't have done better himself.
I'm very bad with those kind of things, so what did I get? I got a hook.
A hole. I can make out something inside, but how to get it out? I will need a hook.
Okay, so
I
that's what.
found it. A coded message. I do believe I will need Holmes.
Here is the list, John. The missing corpses are those of a woman, 40 years old, beginning of August, another, 55 years old, 2 weeks ago, and recently, a young woman. These corpses had nothing in common except that they didn't have any apparent lesions.
All of this is very troubling. Well, I think that I have all of the information possible, and I promise that I will do what I can to clear up this business. I must leave you, my friend, and...
In the name of our friendship,
Please, don't go so stare.
To be sure. Thanks again, Andrew.
it is I who must thank you, John. Don't forget to keep me up to date and say hello to your charming wife for me.
Count on me, Andrew.
Did I even get
I
the
must go
answer
to the
what
wasp's nest to find this rogue that Watson dubbed Bluto. He may be able to provide information on Dr. Tumblety. This lead, although tenuous, is well worth following. I must return to Whitechapel, but it would be better if I did so incognito.
You can finally go into his bedroom, I think.
This should do the trick.
I have a bust of myself. Where was the wasp nest? There.
Let's go. Let's go to the wasp's nest.
Oi, what'll it be to drink, Gav?
Nothing. I'm stuck on the floor.
Old Tong. There's something here. There's something here. I need something. There's something here. I see a jewel. It's fallen between the floorboards.
Uh, try that again. Uh, Because I need to get that over there, I know that, and...
A Hebrew inscription. Going by the length of the chain, it must belong to a child.
Knock knock.
Hello there. You looking for a gas man?
You really a gasser? You sure it isn't a bobby?
Well, if you don't need me, I'll be on my way then. I've already been paid up.
Stay. Who paid you?
A doctor, Marston, I think he was. He told me you'd talk to me about a foreigner, name of Tumblety, if I did you a favour.
Right, mate. Might happen.
What do you want?
What is it you need me to do then?
Listen to me. At the end of Whitechapel, there's an abandoned dump of a house. Opposite Finley's boarding house. Upstairs in the mess where the gas pipes are, you'll find a sack with something heavy inside. If you look in, you'll regret it here. You find it, you bring it here, and you don't tell a soul, right?
Got it. And then you'll tell me about this Tumblety so that I can report back to the doc?
Yeah, doctors know people. And since you is here, it's because he'll move mountains for his American. Me, I don't know much. But you can tell him that he'll have to talk to Squibby. He seems to know lots about plenty. When you come back with a sack, I'll tell you what he needs to tell Squibby so that he snitches on the yank to him.
Oh my.
Believe me, mate, it's as explosive as 10 miles worth of gas in your damn pipes.
Okay, goodbye. I'll
Right
go
then, I'm off.
Blow up.
Go. Give me some air.
I know absolutely nothing about...
I could arrange for the police to come down here and arrest this thug, but he seems pretty tough and would probably be a lot less cooperative than if I play along. It's best I handle this myself, including meeting the mysterious Squibby.
I know absolutely nothing about gas. So,
It's the abandoned house that Bluto pointed out to me. He must have set up his hideout there. There's a strange smell coming from this old building.
probably gas. Hello.
Good day, Finley.
Good day, sir. Have we met before?
It's me, Sherlock Holmes, but I don't want it to be known that I'm here. Can I count on you?
Certainly, Mr. Holmes. I shall be as silent as the grave.
Your tenant, Dr. Tumblety, is he here?
I don't think so, but go and find out.
It would seem you've been having some gas problems.
Don't talk to me about it. The problem is from the abandoned house not far from here, but nobody has come to take care of it.
Perhaps I could go and take a look. Do you have a ladder?
No, but I think in the pile of wood under the stairs there is one in pieces. And if you also need something from the scrap heap, some old tools or who knows what, feel free to take it, Mr. Holmes. But leave the dishes in good condition.
Thank you, and goodbye.
We'll go dumpster
Goodbye,
diving.
Mr. Holmes.
This lead pipe could help me to repair the gas lines. Finley's ladder is smashed to pieces, but all the parts appear to be here. This must be a piece of the ladder. This must be a piece of the ladder. This lead pipe could help me to repair the gas lines. A heap of rusted iron crockery. This must be a piece of the ladder. Some old nails, they may come in handy. This old cloth could be used as a mask. I must moisten my makeshift mask.
With what? So I need tools. I need a hammer or something.
This lead pipe could help me to repair the gas lines. A broken hammer, I will have to find a handle.
I think I have a handle.
Part of a perfume atomizer.
So I got my hammer, I got nails.
Closed.
Darn.
Closed.
What am I missing?
This must be a piece of the ladder.
I have a wooden pole. I have 2 wooden poles. There we go, I got a ladder.
I hope this ladder will support my weight.
I need to... Oh, probably can use these to collect some water. From somewhere. No, come on.
There is a gas leak. My life will be at risk if I enter the room without protection. I must find something to protect myself with so that I can go in and take a better look. There is a gas leak. My life will...
Yeah. Where to find water? There.
There. This damp cloth will do for a mask. Let's go. My cloth mask won't make much difference, but I'll be able to inspect the room for a few seconds. A small torch, a useful tool for opening safes, I would assume, but the gas bottle is empty. The leak must have been sudden. Even the animals didn't have time to escape. The leak must have been sudden. Even the gas leak is coming from behind this locked panel. The leak must have been sudden. Even the animals. Someone left here in a hurry, presumably because of the gas leak. This iron bar will help me.
Will it? Can I use it to, like, pry open?
The leak is coming from here. The satchel is behind these pipes. This explains why the thug wanted someone who knew about gas. He must have hidden it there in great haste and broke the pipes in the process. The satchel seems to be quite stuck. I don't think I can get it out without passing out for good. I need a more suitable mask. The kind used by tanners would do nicely.
Right, so how do I get a tanner's mask?
How is your invest?
I'll be needing a mask of the sort tanners use. Do you know where?
Go check in the little lane across from the clinic. At the cobbler's, perhaps.
Thank you.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes.
I shall, I don't know why I got all this crap in my inventory, but, I got a blowtorch.
How do, sir?
Hello. I'm sorry to say, but I'm closing.
This man seems wary. I must find a way to win his confidence.
Well, I got this. This.
How do, sir?
Hello. I'm sorry to say, but I'm closing.
I am here because I found this.
Abraham's beard. The son of one of my neighbors was beaten in the street a few weeks ago and it was stolen from him. If you would give it to me, I promise to return it to him and get you a reward.
Money doesn't interest me.
Who are you, sir? And what do you want from me?
I'm a friend of Dr. Watson's. You know him, don't you?
In that case, welcome. Dr. Watson is a great man, and I would be pleased to help one of his friends.
I'd like to borrow a tanner's mask, please.
You work the leather and perhaps even tan it yourself. I believe tanners wear special masks to protect themselves from the toxic emissions given off by the vats used to soak the leather. I have a gas leak to fix, and I won't survive without something effective to protect myself with.
Go see my cousin Abraham, who has a pet shop a little further down the road. Tell him that Isaac sent you. That's me.
I kind of figured.
I'll be off now.
My regards to Dr. Watson.
I'll be sure to not pass them on. Pet shop. This looks like.
This is a pet shop.
It is indeed. That's a raccoon. Why do you have a cobra? That is way too small of a cage for that bird. And for that dog. Sir?
Hello, sir.
Hello.
You look identical to your cousin.
You must be Abraham Solomonovich. I came on behalf of your cousin, Isaac. He said that you might be able to help me. I need a good mask to protect me from gas emissions so I can repair a leak.
Yes, it should help you. But I let it drop into the big snake cage and they are very dangerous beasts. I don't know how to retrieve it.
But you must be equipped to deal with these creatures safely, surely.
Of course, but I broke my hook. It should be over there.
If you succeed in getting that beast from its cage, you will be doing me a great favor.
I need something.
Right, let's have a look around, see if we can find something. Where is this broken hook?
I have the broken hook. I can repair it, but I'll need some materials. Perhaps I'll find some material at Isaac's that will be of use. This cage must do to hold the snake.
That is a big snake in a very small cage.
Perhaps I'll find some material at Isaac's that will be of use.
Isaac, your cousin is an idiot.
I need a few items for your cousin Abraham. May I borrow them for you?
Of course. You're welcome.
This should do the trick. This may come in handy.
So, what am I making here? A new hook? That's a lot of shoes.
This should do the trick.
I have a snake pole. Thank you.
I need something.
Where's the cage?
No, I can't do that.
Oh, I got the hook.
Have you let the snake out of its cage?
No.
I need something.
Like what? Oh, we probably need to tighten up the mesh.
This cage must do to hold the snake.
Bork. So...
This cage must do to hold the snake.
Well, that is significantly
This
sturdier.
cage will do the trick. The mesh is small enough.
It can
There we are.
slither
Magnificent.
right over.
If I may ask, why is it you have such equipment?
I haven't always had a pet shop, my friend. I was a butcher for many years, but I wasn't serious enough to be a real meat man, and I was looked down upon in the community. I found myself carting carcasses from the slaughterhouse, a repugnant job in which you catch vile illnesses. It breaks you before you're out of your 30s. Thus, I had the idea to make this mask with a sort of filter, and it worked. Since then, I have quit that work, and with my little savings, I started this business. I lived through the death of thousands of animals. Now I am devoted to their lives. If you are interested, I could sell you a little canary, for example.
No, but
No,
how about
thank
that
you. Let's
snake?
return to the boarding house.
I'm very interested in the snake. I love snakes.
The satchel, rather heavy and firmly wedged, dislodging it will take a concerted effort and is better done in a safe environment. I must repair this leak before I can get the satchel out.
Alright, well.
There isn't enough gas. The pressure isn't high enough. The gas can escape through this nozzle. There isn't enough gas. The pressure isn't.
So
The gas can escape through this.
Plug it up somehow.
The gas can escape through this. There isn't enough gas. The pressure isn't.
Alright.
The gas can escape through this nozzle.
So I need to find something to block it off with then. How about all the pots and pans I picked up?
The satchel, rather heavy and. The gas can escape through this nozzle. The gas can escape through the.
Yes, thank you.
There isn't enough gas. The pressure isn't high enough. There isn't enough gas. The pressure.
Oh, okay, so I need to...
The gas can escape through this.
I need to block off and send it over here then? It's all coming out from there.
There isn't enough gas. The pressure is.
So that was a fire hazard.
Elementary.
Boop.
This much talked about satchel is very heavy and seems to contain metal dishes. I told Bluto that I wouldn't look inside, but I've little need to. It's quite obvious that it's full of silverware.
Well then. I know what to do with that.
Full of crockery, the satchel makes the same noise and weighs about the same as if it were filled with silverware.
You are going to
There
get
is still
freaking
gas in
murdered.
here. Looking at the state of this cat, it won't survive much longer if it stays here.
We are bringing the
Let's
cat.
go to the wasp's nest.
I'm sorry, kitty, but
Let's go to the wasp's nest.
I'm just carrying a kitten around, huh? Can I take it to Can I take it to the pet shop?
Hey, look! It's Mr. Detective. It's...
Shh, I'm undercover on a special mission. Don't blow my cover.
Aye, aye, Captain. We won't let it slip.
Now, what are you doing in this area at such an hour? You're far from home, aren't you?
We've come to give Pounce a hand. About his cat, you know. Downstairs round is a nasty old lady Big Danny lives. She threatens to kill Pounce's cat, 'cause she's allergic, or so she says. And it makes it cough and vomit just by seeing one.
Allergic.
Oh, that's it. She stoned Pounce and his cat yesterday, and the poor thing took off, and hasn't been seen again. We've been looking for it, but nothing.
I think I have your cat.
Does that cat there belong to Pounce?
Aww.
Bert! That's my Bertie!
Be careful, he is injured. Let's take him to the pet shop. We might be able to take care of him. Let's go to the pet shop, children.
Aww. Adorable.
If you all go in at once, you will scare the animals. Pounce, come with me. Everyone else, stay here.
What can I do for you?
I have come to return your mask.
Ah, thank you. If you need something else, do not hesitate.
May I present young Pounce and his cat, Bert. Poor Bert, he's been injured.
It's Big Danny who threw a cobblestone at him.
Big Danny? Danny the Jaw? The terror of the Highlands?
Oi, that's her, mister.
You know this lady?
Lady is not the appropriate word. Fury, more likely. Danny is a night worker. Before that, she performed in a circus where she fought against men for a penny a round. It was said that she never lost a fight.
Is there anything you can do for poor Bert?
I don't know. This cat seems to be in a sorry state. I have a book on cats over there. Can you find it while I look at its wound?
Yes.
It's also been gassed. I feel like that might be, you know, something to take into consideration.
Aha! This must be the cat book Abraham needs.
What can I do?
Here's the book on cats.
Thank you, my man. I will see what I can do for this cat.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, sir.
Is that it?
What can I...
It seems to be.
Goodbye.
We have saved the cats, and now to the wasp's nest.
We've come to give Pounce a hand. About...
Yay, we have successfully saved the cat. And catnip. Where's the wasp nest? There.
I need something.
Alright, bag.
Pass the sack to me. Did you look in?
I give you my word, but it won't belong to you until you tell me where Squibby is.
Fine. The poor idiot was taken by the peelers the other day. I don't know why some chap started to screech about it. He was the Whitechapel killer, but he ended up followed by an hysterical mob. In a flash, the bobbies had him rounded up and locked down.
Do you mean at the local police station?
Might not. But if you or the doc talk to him, tell him that about the kayak business. I'll forget our score if he rats on the yank. He'll know. Now, hand over the bag.
I say, that's all a little bit wishy-washy. I'm not sure it's worth the satchel.
Hey, don't shake it like that, moron. If you don't want to end up with a knife in the back, you'll get busy with the pipe. Got it?
Here, take it. That'll teach me for being a good Samaritan. Honestly, how rude.
How rude indeed.
I'd best be off now. Better to not be around when he opens the satchel.
Run away. Well, I need to go to the police station then, surely. I have silverware.
I can't just waltz into the police station to ask if they've got Squibby locked up. I'll have to come up with a ploy to find out if he is actually there. Then I'll need to get the policeman to leave for just a few minutes so I can talk to the prisoner. I can't just waltz in.
Fine.
So, you little jackanapes, you want to ride on the big whirly?
Another day, perhaps, Mum.
Is this...
As a matter of fact, I would like to know if a chap I know called Squibby happens to be in this police station, and how many policemen are inside.
Information? Yes, but time is money for me, you know.
Here are a few guineas. So, Squibby.
I'll tell you everything that I know, my ducky. Nothing. Ha! I know nothing about whether Squibby is there, and I don't give a damn. The bobbies don't whisper sweet nothings to me, like the girls in the nice places. And now get lost before I get all worked up. Hey, if you have something to offer to a lady, I could tell you a little bit more, maybe.
Here are a few guineas.
No.
Oh, hey.
Wrong.
I'll be back.
You do that.
No, I got this
Girls
nice
from the
silver.
nice houses. That monster. Oh. Danny must have been referring to establishments like Miss Bella's that Watson told me about. Pardon me, but can you give me some information?
This area is shameful, don't you think?
It is. That's not the information I was looking for. So, brothel, yes?
Fine, I have to go to the brothel. I have nothing to ask.
No, so he likes me, huh?
Good evening, Lucy. Do you remember me?
Mr. Holmes, come in. You're strangely dressed. What have you come to do in the area?
I've come to ask if any of your colleagues, or perhaps even yourself, associate with any of the policemen from the local station.
Certain girls go with police officers, it's true, but Bella would be able to tell you more than me.
Very well, I'll be on my way.
Oh, Bella.
You are a friend of Dr. Watson?
Indeed.
A fine man, your Dr. Watson. He got me out of a damn business with one of my clients. We gave this boor a lesson to remember, and he's since gone to France, having snagged one of my best girls. But it's a break from all of her chatter. You're looking for information about the police, is that right? I can't help you there. The girls concerned are busy. And anyway, I don't have the time.
What is bothering you so much?
A client left me a case of bottles as payment. It happens all the time. I'm saddled with all this stuff. He told me that these perfumes were the latest thing, straight from Paris. Well, I'd barely smelled the first one when I nearly fainted. There might be some good ones in there, but I'd have to find out if it's really perfume, so that it won't burn the skin off my pretty girls.
Madam, I will undertake to tell you exactly which of these products are perfumes if you agree to entrust them to me for a little while. In exchange, I would like to know more about Squibby.
Yes, I know him. We've struck a deal, Mr. Holmes. I'll give you these bottles.
I like her. She's great.
I will need a book to help me identify Miss Bella's perfume. I believe the bookshop on Glenworth Street, not far from Baker Street, has just reopened. Let's go and take a look.
Shouldn't you, you know, change your attire first? Or am I still dressed like a gas man?
Hello, sir.
No,
Hello.
I have
Are you the
apparently
new bookseller
changed
in
my
the
clothes.
neighbourhood?
Yes, my name is Barnes. You're one of my first visitors. Welcome. What are you looking for?
Barnes and Noble, huh?
I'm looking for a work that can help me identify perfumes. A book that deals with vegetation and its possible uses in the domain, for example.
I would recommend the Encyclopedia Spartica about vegetation. It consists of a reference on the matter. This book is the most complete that there is.
Fine, I will take it.
But it's just that, I have no idea where it is. Would you believe that my predecessor classified works by their acquisition date? Nowadays, we advocate a thematic classification. However, I am getting down to the task. You aren't looking for anything concerning the history of the scripts. I'm fascinated by the subject, and I already have numerous books on the topic.
It is no doubt very interesting, but I need this book Spartica without further delay.
Fine, fine. I will try to find the acquisition date of this encyclopedia, Mr.
Holmes, Sherlock Holmes.
Ah, fantastic. You are the man for the job. Perhaps you could try to find the missing dates. That will buy you some time.
Buy me some time.
There are
for
some
what?
dates missing?
Yes, I forgot to mention that detail. The dates were written on cardstock attached to the columns, and there was one date per section. As one goes along, you will see there is no specific order, and certain are missing. I remade the labels, but I don't know where to put them. They're there on the counter.
Are there any other details to know?
The proprietor inscribed a date every 2 years since his arrival in 1864, up until now, that is 1888. He left a note regarding his method of shelving, but I didn't understand a word. I do believe, in fact, that he was a bit mad.
There are some dates missing? Are there?
Wrong. Thank you. Goodbye.
Well, I will see.
All of the numbers placed on the same column must have different ending numbers. For example, 1886 and 1866 together would create an inconceivable disaster. The dates whose numbers add together will produce the same sum cannot be put on the same column if they indicate the same sense. Number of dates by column 545. Big X. Well, it should be simple-ish enough. Not this one. Let's see. So this one should be this one? 72, 84, 80. Does it matter where? Probably not. Hopefully not. Is that correct?
Have you finished placing my labels, Mr. Holmes?
Maybe it does matter. So that was not correct.
I must put all of the labels back in their rightful place. There, Mr. Barnes, the labels are in their correct places. That should facilitate your classification. Have you found my book?
Yes, what luck it was to meet you. It was acquired in 1882.
I will look for it. Thank you very much. I would suggest that you organize your books quickly. I am in the habit of visiting my local bookstore at least once a week.
You are right, Mr. Holmes.
1882, so over there. Over there. Perfume is described in a musical metaphor as having 3 sets of notes, making the harmonious scent a chord. The notes unfold over time with the immediate impression of the top note leading to the deeper middle notes and the bass notes gradually appearing as the final stage. The quality of a perfume is usually assessed in terms of 3 parameters. Fragrance is the most important issue, describing essentially the smell of a perfume. It is followed by the intensity of smell, ranging from subtle scent to overwhelming odor. Also, safety of use is important, because not all the elements of a perfume could be sound for ladies' tender skin.
This encyclopedia on plants and spices is just what I need to analyze these so-called perfumes. Let's return to Baker Street. Let's go to Baker Street. I will need my work table.
That's over here.
I need something.
Alright, the perfumes.
Let's get to work. I must analyze these perfumes.
Test the perfume. Mornings of sleepless nights. Aroma, intensity, noxiousness, and results. So,
These shapes represent the smells at my disposal.
results? Good.
This shape represents the essence of the perfume, which I must recreate.
Did I do it correctly? Maybe it's this one. No, it's this one.
This perfume is ghastly.
Right, next one.
This shape represents the...
Yeah, okay, it's that one, I think.
Excellent. Now, on to the next step.
No, wait, this one goes there, and this one goes here. But the foot is wrong. I think the foot is wrong. I think it's a little too high. Maybe it's this one.
Elementary.
Oh, there we go.
Fine, I have to go to the brothel.
You sound so upset.
Fine, I have to go to the brothel.
I have your god-awful perfumes.
So, my dear man, have you reached a verdict?
I have distinguished the good perfumes from the bad, but even the good ones are nothing more than common sense for adolescents.
Who cares? It'll freshen up a few of my girls. Wait, there's a perfume here called Valerian. What is it?
It's not really a perfume, technically speaking, unless you like cats. It's more of a kind of medicine.
It smells strange. I don't really like it. Here, I can give it to you. And I have some information. Squibby is most assuredly locked up at the police station hereabouts. It would also seem that he's the one who doesn't want to come out.
Do you know someone by the name of Danny?
Danny? Big Danny, Nutcracker?
Another
The one who
nutcracker.
hates cats?
That's the one.
You're interested in that kind of bird? Oh, be like dipping your biscuit in a pig's trough. She's dangerous, a real cyclone, so beware. And her appearance, she claims to adore perfumes. She'd need this whole box to smell sweet.
What?
I doubt it'll take much to make Danny cooperate, perhaps by offering her a little gift.
I know
Let's go to
exactly
the
what
police station.
put on her. This is gonna end really badly for me. One of these days, Sherlock Holmes is just gonna get clocked in the face by someone he insults. Have I gone the wrong way again? I believe so, yes. There you go.
Do you remember me? Would you be kind enough to help me by telling me how many policemen are inside in exchange for this bottle of perfume?
This is perfume. He's got a funny look on his face. Me, I want a pretty bottle with a button so that I can spray it all over myself. Got it?
Alright, fine. How do I...
You still there, honey pie?
I'll be back.
You do.
So... how do I connect those two? Maybe I missed something in the bottle.
I have no reason to go that way.
Oh, no, never mind. Pet shop, maybe?
What can I...
Goodbye.
I don't think I should be heading back to the Wasps next. Maybe the clinic.
I have no reason to go that way.
Nope. Swear. What can it be that I have? Do I need to head back to...
I have no reason.
No.
I have no...
Where? I feel like I'm lacking something on this one. Maybe it's in the boarding house? No, I can't go back up there.
Water. Closed. Closed.
Now, I'm really confused. I don't actually know where I can find the thing that's missing for this. No.
Part of a perfume atomizer.
Well then. There we go. Jesus Christ. It was right in front of me all along.
Do you remember me? Would you be...
There you go, a real perfume.
There ain't much in the station. It was pretty busy, but now there's only one constable, dearie.
There we are. Now Danny has been sprayed with valerian, a scent that's irresistible to cats. I must create a diversion in the street to make the policeman come out, but I need some cats. Lots of cats. To the pet shop. I must go to the pet shop.
I would like to borrow all your cats.
What can I do for you?
So, how is Bert doing?
He'll pull through. But he must eat, and I have no food for him here. We will need to find him some.
And where can we get some cat food?
We must find Hardiman. He sells meat for cats. It's around this time when he passes the end of the road. You might be in luck. You'll hear him from far away. He was always calling beep, beep.
Thank you for everything, Mr. Solomonovich.
Beep, beep.
So, Pounds, shall we look for the cat food seller? Poor Bert has to be fed, and I might have some work for you and your friends.
Oh, he's so cute. He's so tiny. I have a feeling that's him.
Beep beep. Beep beep.
Good evening, sir.
How do? A little kebab for the cat? These little brats can't possibly all be yours.
Pardon? Oh, no, none of them.
Ah, children, they're our pride and joy. And yet...
I'd like one of those kebabs.
Do cats really like kebabs?
They adore them. How many would you like?
I'll take the lot.
I beg your pardon, sir?
How much for the lot?
For £2, they're all yours, my lord.
It's a deal. Listen up, my little soldiers. You need to find all the cats in Whitechapel and lead them towards the police station. You'll be armed with delicious kebabs to entice them. Go, as quick as you can now. If my calculations are correct, the cats will be seduced by Danny's odour and will throw themselves on her. That should cause enough of a commotion to get the policeman to come out onto the street.
Indeed. Arms full of kitty
Come on now,
cats.
children. Let the cats alone.
They ripped their skirts.
But what's all this racket? Calm down. Come on, out. And make those cats shut up.
Well now, let's see what I can do about Squibby. This must be the door that leads to the cells.
And what am I supposed to do with this? Probably make it fit on the lock, right? These are some clunky controls. So what it is it supposed to go like this? In the lock you go. Open sesame. Yeah, let's try this again.
This must be the door that leads to the...
I'm very confused. see. Is this puzzle broken, maybe? Never mind, it's just me not... Okay, I'm gonna pretend I knew what I was doing there. Hey.
And who are you?
I've come to talk to you about Tumblety.
So you're here to kill me, are you?
Absolutely not. I've come on behalf of someone you know, who told me you have some explosive news about this American. In exchange, he has settled your bill on the kayaks.
You ain't no street person, you. You're a bobby, trying to wind me up, aren't you?
Not at all. Will you agree to talk?
Not a chance. I'll give nothing away for nothing. I don't have to follow Bluto's orders. I'm in it up to my neck, and the bobbies won't agree to keep me locked up here for the rest of my life.
You mean to say that you are here of your own accord?
Damn right. Only death awaits me out there. I was almost lynched because I was blamed for the murder of those poor girls who were chopped up like animals. The police put me here for my own safety. That's when this journalist showed up.
A journalist?
A journalist?
I socked him once for disrespecting me down at the pub. He said I'd pay for it one day, and that day came. He said he was going to squeal to the papers about me. With my description and my tattoos and all, I was arrested at the same time the police said they'd caught the Whitechapel killer. While waiting to write the article, he started the rumour. Now the streets ain't safe for me no more.
I understand. Listen, if I find this journalist and make him promise to not write a word about you, and if I also agree to pay for you to get out of London, will you tell me everything you know about Tumblety?
You sure know how to speak to ruffians, don't you? You got yourself a deal.
What's the name of this journalist?
Bulling. Tom Bulling.
Tom Bulling? That name sounds familiar. That wouldn't be the journalist that Watson met at the Wasp's Nest.
Huh?
Ah, no, nothing. I was just thinking aloud.
Goodbye.
Well, I'll be going, Squibby.
You're right. It ain't healthy here.
I shall leave Bluto's treasure at the station. The police will know what to do with it.
Wait, how do I get out?
I shall leave Bluto...
Put it here.
What, ain't you gone?
Well, I'll be going, Squibby.
You're right.
I shall leave Bluto's treasure at the station. The police will know what to do with it.
Oh, Jesus. So the door isn't there. Jesus. Right.
I shall leave Bluto's treasure at the...
There we go.
Hey, but what are you up to here, you? Off with you, and make it quick before I take you in.
Take me in for what? Hanging around?
Let's go to the Wasp's Nest.
Right. I think I shall save here and pick this up another time. As I've been playing for quite a while, but I'll definitely pick this up maybe next Sunday, who knows. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.